Yeah, I'm going for business management, and I'm also getting my bachelor's degree in social services.
Cool.
Good, good. I like that. Good to hear people going for the things that they want. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, it's just something to do." No, there's not just something to do. It's what I really wanted to do when I was
right,
younger, but I
right.
had kids, so I had to wait.
Yeah, people don't understand that. When you find something you are really interested in doing, it's not just another thing that you're doing.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. I could rock with that. All right. So, today I have a very interesting topic. Um, what's more important in marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability?
I,
Um,
mm,
go ahead, Mila. You want to go?
yeah, I would say emotional availability because once your relationship fall into place, the financial stuff will come automatically.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, let me go to Wicked, and then I'm gonna ask a question. Wicked, what you think? What's more important in marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability?
For me and my husband, it's emotional availability because you have to, if you cannot be there for your partner when everything's just going downhill,
Hmm.
your partner's not going to want to stay with you once everything goes uphill because they're just going to be like, okay, you're uphill now. I'm going to just take the money and leave.
Mm, mm,
Because no one's going to stick around with someone who cannot be there for them emotionally. And it's like, and I can see where people are like, well, what about financial stability? Yeah, financial stability is great,
yeah.
but financial stability is not going to make your marriage last long. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Right.
Well, it'll last long for the person that's in it for the money.
Yeah, for a person who's in it for the money, it definitely financial stability would matter 100% more than emotional availability because they're not in it for emotion and for love. They're in it for money.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it'll the thing with this, right, is that we know that both um are important necessities, right? But I think what happens is there's going to be a give and take with those. So, for instance, if a woman wants a man to be the money figure that she wants him to be, she has to understand that that requires a lot of time from him. So he may not be even physically available to even provide the emotional availability that she may be seeking over the money that she wants him to make, right? We all know that to make a lot of money takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of time from you. So then what happens is now you have less time outside of making money. You know, if the whole thing is chase it, chase it, chase it. So what happens is that his physical availability is not even as frequent. He can't even provide the quality time that you want to have to develop, to build and strengthen that foundation of emotional availability. You know, so not that he's incapable, but it just makes it harder. If somebody has to work, um, your current full time job is 40 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the man got to work 70 to 80 hours a week. You won't see him,
No, you won't.
but he'll make the money, but you just won't see the man.
Yeah, that's true.
So then what happens is the complaint is, well, he's not available. Yeah, because he's not physically available.
But I
I'm
feel like it
sorry,
all
y'all,
goes.
but I've gotta go. My nausea's getting too bad.
It's okay, Wicked. Thanks for coming on, okay?
Thanks for having me up.
No problem.
I feel like it all go hand in hand, though. Honestly,
Yeah. They do, right? Um, because they do, but they're not gonna be equaled out, is what I mean. The time is never gonna be equaled out. Um, because if a man is too available, he don't work enough hours. I mean, you got him, but then how much money can you make? You know. But I guess it all depends on what you do. I don't want to say everything is fitting everything.
yeah,
I think one of the greatest things people could do, right, is when they're together, they work together, right? They retire each other early. That way, you have more time with each other. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No,
And
I agree, but
yeah,
sometimes even even the relationships that people have these days, you can have one person working from home, one person working 80 hours or however many hours a week, and it's still a problem within their marriage.
yeah,
So that's why I said it all goes hand in hand because at one point someone don't have enough time to do this, or maybe he do have time to spend time and she don't, and like everything gets crossed.
yeah. I think everything is with importance and what do you call that? And time management. You have to make time for someone. You know, so you're gonna have to sacrifice something.
Yeah, but you got to be willing to make time too.
That's what I'm saying. Because two things, right? If you want money, you're gonna have to sacrifice time, and if you want time, you may have to sacrifice some money.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so it's the whole thing of sometimes you can't have it all. You know, I mean, there are things you can have, but I think men and women have to understand that they can't always have it all with everything. There's gonna be something that's gonna take a back seat. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get a speak easy. You ready?
I am ready.
What what you think, man? What's more important in marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability? Go ahead, sir.
Both emotional presence and financial stabilities are important in a marriage.
Uh-huh.
Without one, the other often struggles. That being said, every relationship is unique, and it ultimately depends on the goals and values of the partners. For example, if a couple is financially stable but lack the physical or emotional presence, it can create a tension. Similarly, the reverse is also true. So both are very important, but it really depends on the couples what they are aspiring for. If they have a good financial stability, then they would probably not going to look for the financial stabilities. They're probably going to look for the emotional attachment. So in absence of one, the another have to struggle a lot. So both are very important, but again it depends on the partners what they are lacking and what they are looking for. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah. I guess the whole question is that we're asking of people is that what's what's higher on your list? Like we all have like a list of things that we like, right? Like some of us like tacos more than hamburgers. We like both of them, but we're gonna like more than the other. They're both, we're both gonna like them. But I guess the whole question is, what are people going to pick on a list first? That's more important. They're gonna pick that the emotional availability is first, or the financial
Here
stability is
here is
first.
the one thing, you as you rightfully said, Priority is very important in a relationship. What you prioritize and what your partner wants to prioritize. For example, I work full time and I do make a good amount of money. My girl, she works full time and she does make a good amount of money. We do not have a problem in our financial stability, but if she's not available to me or if my physical presence is not gonna available to her, then it will create a chaos. So what you have is not important. What you don't have is very important in a relationship. And what you don't have, if your partner fulfill it out, or if you fulfill it out on what your partner does not have, then it will create a conducive atmosphere in a relationship, and it goes to vice versa. Let's say for example you have enough money. For let's say for example, fifth brother, let's say for example you are financially stable, your partner and you are financially stable, you are in a good financial state of your life. But how about if you are not available to your partner physically, emotionally, intellectually? How do you feel? And same goes to your partner too. So it's the pretty much the basically the point is what you prioritize in a relationship and what your partner wants to prioritize is the first thing that it should be work on.
Indeed, indeed. All right, let me get to someone new. Ruthless Truth, you there?
Yeah. How you doing?
Good, good, good. I just like to just explain ground rules for people who are new to my panel, and that is just no cursing, no foul language. Follow TikTok guidelines, language guidelines, okay? But yeah, the topic, the prompt. What's more important in a marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability? Go ahead, brother.
I think they're both. I think they're both quicksand. And anybody who builds their marriage on that definitely 100% will fail. Because emotional availability, what does that mean? Emotions are fleeting. They come, they go, up, down, left, right. Money, that's without substance, right? That's materialistic and build a foundation of want. So I think they're both. I think they're both a part of every marriage, and hence this is why majority of these marriages fail when you build on those things. Because soon I've seen it all. I've seen people financial stability. They tend to start to hate each other for some reason. Then I see people who's emotionally available and they complain about the financial part. So it's I want to say this. It all comes down to, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. I think it all comes down to what's more valuable. Is your partner valuable enough to you outside of all that? And I think then all that other stuff just makes it, the financial part a tool and emotional part a luxury. But if you're basing it on this person is valuable to me because I value their time and their presence, then I think you can potentially have a healthy relationship. But other than that, if you value emotional availability, you're doomed. And if you value financial stability, you're doomed because once again, both of those are quicksand. They're never good to build a relationship on those two valuables there.
Yes, you made a very such an amazing point. Self-fulfillment is important. Both financial security and emotional attachment are equally important for a balanced and meaningful life. For example, if I do not have if I am not in the state of my financial stability, then I have to doubly work hard. So I do not have a time for the physical presence to my girl. And same goes, both are equally important. But how do we balance our relationship when it comes with physical attachment or emotional attachment and the financial stability depends on a couples. Both are like, I'll just give you an example, okay? If we flip the coin, one side of the coin might point toward the ceiling and the other side of the coin points underneath, but the existence of both sides of the coin is always there. So in order to have a relationship in a good conducive atmosphere, both financial security and emotional attachment plays a role. In absence of one, another cannot exist. Like if you want to drive a car, you won't able to drive a car in a two wheel. Four wheels of your car is very important to ride it down or to drive it, right? It's same thing. In order to have a conducive in a good conducive atmospheric environment, if you want to lead your relationship, both are equally important, but it again depends on the partner what they are more aspiring for, what they emphasize more on, depends on the partner. Able to drive my car in a road with two wheels, I at least have to need a four wheels, so my priority is for the four wheels, not only two wheels. So priority should be taken place first, and absolutely in this modern world, people are definitely looking for financial security too, and at the same time physical attachment is also very important. So in absence
I
of
believe,
one, yeah,
but I believe people who are looking for financial security, they're looking for something without substance. And then people who are looking for emotional availability or emotional intelligence are looking for something that's impossible for the other to accomplish, right? So once again, emotions are fleeting. No, everybody knows nobody wants an overly emotional leader.
yes,
Nobody wants that.
emotions fluctuates over the course of
Yeah,
time.
and
Yes,
then money corrupts. Money corrupts. That's the problem with money. I mean, it's a tool. It's important. I'm not saying it's not important for us. The tool which is needed to circumvent a house and all those other things that are, I guess, life. But when you when you set the stake out to be that part of your, that importance to you need that to be with someone, you're now then been corrupted by materialism, which has no substance. That means it's just as worse as emotions, right? So it's a walking time bomb. Because as soon as they
yes.
get it, let's say they get it both emotional, and they get the money. Guess what? Then they're going to want something else.
No, materials will affect your emotional health. Materials will affect your emotional health. If you are struggling to put food in a table, right? If you are struggling to put a food in a table, then I don't think so you will be available with your partner emotionally, because your emotions fluctuate over the time. Your priority is to put a food in a table first. Then only you will be emotionally happy to have that attachment with your partner, vice versa, right?
I believe duty, dedication, and understanding is the only way to live off. If you just, because emotions, once again, you can, if my partner's being emotional, I can be an ear. I can listen. I may not always understand, but I will be an ear to listen. But
Still on the back of
but
your head, you are still struggling. It's
but
your
what I'm saying
emotion
is,
will still be triggers,
but what I'm
because
saying
you
is,
still
I
are
can't.
yeah.
But I'm not a professional doctor, and I can't heal that.
But
Right?
on
I
the
can.
back of yes, yes, I got it.
See what I'm saying? I am your husband. I can listen to you once again. I can be there for you, but I cannot heal that because I'm not God and I'm not a professional doctor to give you the, I guess, advice that you can deal with that. That's something that's eternally dealt with within yourself. And,
Basically, ruthless.
and I'm gonna say this. Let me say this. I have no problem with that. I'm not trying to really take that away from someone, but just don't imply them things on me and make my house so hostile where me and you are at odds against each other. That's the problem I have with it. Once those things are turned towards me and weaponized against me and and now create a conflict in a home which I want to build on peace, then baby, you gotta go get help. You gotta go get help, baby.
I got you. I got you. When we are in the state of our mind, we focus on the things and we'll get a good result of what we are doing. But when we are not in the state of our mind, we won't able to create a conducive atmosphere. We won't able to focus on the things that we want to do, and that will affect our families, that will affect our partners too. It's about the being in the state of our mind. And in order to be in the state of our mind, at least our basic needs should have to be fulfilled. If I have my basic need fulfilled, then probably from one way to other, I might gonna have an expectation, but at least I will be in the state of my mind. On the back of my head, okay, this is what I have to live up with. At least I have my basic things with me. I do have other expectation too, but I will keep that expectation and I will work hard. And I probably gonna think the way, at least if I have my basic things. But if I do not have my basic thing, then that will trigger me, that will trigger my emotional health. And when it triggers my emotional health from one way to others, it will affect the emotional health of my loved ones too.
Well, once again, everybody in the house, kids, women, me, we are in a house together, but we all have internal conflicts within ourselves that kind of makes us individuals. So this is why they got health services and different things like that. And you hurt for physically, you got doctors, right? They got specialists for those things. I'm the father, but I'm not the specialist like let's say the doctor is, or the pediatrician, or the therapist. See what I'm saying? My role as a father in that house is to create stability so that everybody can be as comfortable as possible so that we can have a foundation that we all can lean on, which is duty and all those things, right? So when those bad things come, when the things that conflict comes, we have a way to try to get out of it and still be healthy. So that would be my job as the man of the house.
Yeah.
To get us in and out of the turbulence and still keep the ship afloat. But still, again, there are things that you have to go to specialists for, because I'm not that guy, because I just can't do it all. I just can't do it.
Yeah. As you rightfully, as you rightfully outline, the very basic foundation of our life, the very, very, very first foundation of our life at our home is the basic foundation of we being in the state of our mind. When we are in the state of our mind, when a household, or let's say, for example, I'm married. I have my kids and have my spouse, right, at my home, right? If I am in the state of mind, then I will have a sense of strong foundation at my home. I'll direct my kids, I'll support my wife. But if I am not in the state of my mind, the very foundation of me as a person will not able to deliver the services to my family, because I am not in the state of our mind. And state of mind fluctuates over the course of time. Our feelings, our emotion triggers from one way to other by so many things that we are bombarded with. But again, when we are not in the state of our mind, I don't think so we will able to deliver the services to our family. If you have to, if you are the household, if you are the head of your house, and if you are in charge of everything at your home, and if you are not in the state of your mind, immensely you will not going to deliver the services to your family. But again, state of mind can consolidate. It can change over the course of time. Our feelings, our emotions will be affected in a blink of an eye. But the very foundation is still the state of our mind.
Let me kind of chime in real quick. No, just kind of help the conversation.
Yeah.
What do you see that's most commonly complained about on, whether you be in conversations with people or just on the internet or TV or whatever, or just popular culture? What are the things that you see that is most complained about that there's a lack of in a relationship or marriage? Out of the two here, are the options here?
Well, I think it's 50-50.
Okay, so you think the complaints are that or equal sides, in terms of people saying equally there's not enough financial stability and there's not enough emotional availability, basically?
I wouldn't say stability is I think that's a little too strong.
Okay.
But financial growth would be a better way for it, because you could be stable, but sometimes people want more, right? Or feel like you should be at another level. So I'm thinking that's why a lot of people get out of marriages, because they're like, oh, you're not helping me to achieve that superior or elite situation that I dreamed of. So in that, so for the most, but most availability is so I says 50-50 down the middle. I says down the middle. The women are a lot of women are complaining that most of these complaints are by the women for these two. These are 98, 99% the women, right? Side. These are women's side of complaints. Emotional availability. They're the one who demanding men to be more vulnerable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the financial part, right? The women wants the more, right? Because guys, we already come in, if we're getting married, we're the financial provider. So we're not really complaining about a woman financially or what she ain't bringing for us. That part,
Mm-hmm.
on a large scale. I'm not saying there is absolutely no men complaining, but for the most part, men don't really make that complaint. But I'd say this is why I say the women on emotional, they want a lot of women want the men to be more vulnerable, and also they want men to be financially achievers above average.
Okay. Mila, you have anything to say to that? Because
Um,
the question I asked was, what do you see out of these two that people will say that what's lacking? What is the most thing you see complained about out of these two on the internet, on who you talk to, in person, whatever, just anywhere? Go ahead.
I would say it's 50-50 because
That's crazy.
Fifth, you know when we had these conversations all the time.
Right.
Specifically about the people that I hang around. They all are mad or upset because their significant other is not providing emotional availability or financial stability, and that's all they want to talk about. Quite frankly, I don't want to hear it. I've been through it. I don't. That's not my cup of tea. I have my own. I have basically my own everything, and I I worked hard to get to where I am. So I'm just gonna say it's 50-50. Women, I wouldn't even say 50-50. Women complain more than men, but men get fed up when women constantly repeat themselves about what he is or is not doing.
Yeah. What you said is a statistical fact. Because women have been more prone to come on the internet and disclose their business versus men. But I do understand what you're saying. And yes, there are like Ruthless said. He said there are men that do complain. He's not saying there's no men that complain, but he's talking about basically minority versus majority, right?
Yeah,
So I
but
would,
I
yeah,
would
go ahead.
say women complain more than men though. Men just get fed up because they do more. They provide more and women don't see it. It's just, oh, you don't have time for me. You don't have this. I want to do this and I want to do that. What about what he want to do? What are you helping him with? And that's what a lot of people, women in general, don't understand. Men get tired too.
Well, what do you say about the women who are in relationships with their man, with their husband, complaining about him on the internet of out of these two things, and the man don't even know?
What do I say to women? What do I
Yeah,
say
no,
about
no, I'm saying, what do you think about? Because there are okay, you've been a faithful to my platform, right? Coming on here every week, right?
Uh huh.
For the most part, we've had married women come up here and complain about their husbands.
I was one.
Okay, so I've yet to hear a now divorced men, yes, have come on here, but I've yet to hear a married man come up here and talk about his wife like she not in the next room. But
Yeah, well, that's because they don't. Some people don't know how to express themselves like that. Like, I feel like if a man or a woman can come on social media on a platform like yours or your platform and say, well, my wife this, that, and the third, and she's sitting in the next room and she can hear him. I feel like it's some truth to that. Hold on, I got a call. I'll be right back.
All right, Rufus, go ahead.
So yeah, the thing with women, and this is why it's not as valuable to get into a long-term commitment with them, because no matter what position the woman is, she feels she can get better, improve better. You give her the sun, the moon, the stars, and she wants Venus. So that's the problem, right? They come in and complain. They're complaining because they think they need more, want more, because social media and the things they see influence them.
Yeah, every time. I'm back
And
though.
they think, oh, that girl, and the girls be on there flossing, they be faking. Or like they called this one girl, she went in her mom mansion and she was taking a video of, yeah, this is how long I'm living. And a lot of women see that. They're married. Some of them married. And they be like, man, I deserve that. Ooh, I want, and then husband can't really get to that level. They're at a good level. I mean, they're good. They got everything they need. But she's seeing that and she's like, I deserve that. And then that she applies the pressure on her husband for more. Or we could be better, or you get more hours, or you could do this. And then it becomes a constant conflict, right? And once again, a lot of these things are part of a delusion that is of an insatiable appetite. And this is why the financial part, I say financial growth is a big problem, because I don't know, these visual dreams that these people have is just unrealistic. So they're destroying marriages as we speak.
Well, we're living in comparison culture right now. A lot of that is going on because of social media and stuff like that. And I think that's what's really just kind of getting in people's minds and affecting their relationships. There are people that will say that they had a breakup because of something that they watched online or something like that, or influenced online. This one woman, there's a story, this one woman, right? It's on video. The husband fell asleep outside he fell asleep in his car. And she goes in the car and she's like, yo, what are you doing? And he was like, look, I'm just tired. I wanted to get some quiet time, and I had fell asleep. So she gets in the car with him. He says no. So then it just goes to show you that he had problems in his home, to the fact that he fell asleep in his car, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to coming in the house. Then what she does is that she makes another video and she says, my husband is not on the internet, but now he's packing up his stuff and leaving because he watches podcasts and stuff like that. Now, my first thing I'm thinking is, no, he's probably leaving because you're making videos of his private moments and putting it on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly why he left.
Right.
He don't have social media. He don't want to be on there, and you're putting him on there.
Right. And so,
You broke one of his, maybe one of his lively rules. He
right.
not a social media person. Why would you put him on social media? What are you trying to prove? What is your point? What's your purpose?
Right. And Mila, peep game. Financially, they looked like they were doing pretty well. I mean, I don't know everything, but the house was nice, big house. But the man wanted to stay in the car and get some rest. Something emotionally is going on there.
Yeah, it's a big emotion that somebody is not paying attention to, and I'm not even gonna say nobody. She's not paying attention to it because she's lost in social media. Everything is not meant to be posted on social media. Everything is not meant to be told to a friend, family member, associate, or whatever have you. I don't care if the government put $1 million in your account. That's not for everybody to know.
Right. That's a fact. So I wanted to get full circle to this. I've seen situations where, women have, they've gotten with men who have the money part, but then they're like, well, he's not emotionally available.
Some men
And
don't know how to be emotionally available, and that's okay.
right, that may not be their best ability. So that's another thing. And I want to go back to what Ruthless said. Ruthless talked about seeking something of substance, right?
Yep.
So what he was saying is that when you could be so caught up in chasing the money part, or chasing somebody for the money or whatever, then your vetting there will be some things that you won't vet for, or lacking vetting for in terms of priority, in terms of the connection part. So then what happens is, okay, you got the man with the money, right? If you're able to, then when you get him, the complaint is, well, I don't see him. And it's like, well, what did you expect? You know, like I mentioned, a hardworking man, a hardworking person, because even women too. I know women who work so much they ain't got time to date.
No, they don't, and it's hard for them to date.
Yeah,
And that's on both parts, men and women. But I'm not saying men work harder than women, but some men do work harder than women. They jobs are very demanding. I am gonna say that.
I like to
But
talk. I like to have the conversation about the emotional part, right?
hmm
And
go
I
go
go
think this is.
go
I
ahead,
think
Ruthless.
this is a indictment on the women lack of understanding of the emotional awareness, right? Because if you're trying to build emotions and money are equal because they're both without substance. Emotions come and go, like we said, they're fleeting. Money comes and go, right?
hmm
They're both equal. So the foundational piece of somebody trying to build on something that's fleeting is setting up their situation for failure. See, a true relationship is built on respect and durability, right?
yeah.
Because you can't build on love because once again, love is emotion. It go you might love your man one day, tomorrow you might not like him. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe something y'all didn't agree on, but
It's
that's
funny you
beside the
say
point.
that. I went through that for 10 years.
Right. But this is this is why you can't build a foundation on love because that's an emotion which once again comes and goes. Same with money, comes and goes. So women out here chasing these top two because these are, I think, 99.9.9.9% of women top two is emotions and money. I
Yeah,
think that's
because
I think
some
that's a
men some men satisfy women emotions with money. Oh,
yeah, but
here, I got you this, or I got you this car, or I got you this purse, or go get your hair and nails done, go get your feet done. You want to go out to eat?
right,
It's all settled. Then she's no longer mad anymore, and
right.
that can't always be something that make you happy. I don't care if you had $1 million when we first met. Your money don't make me nothing.
And that is once again, right? This is what makes the woman's what she's building on and what those things that are built are very unsubstantial. What's the word I want to use? They're very hard to keep up, right? It's very hard to maintain. Emotional availability is very hard to maintain. It's almost impossible for somebody else to maintain your emotions or cater to your emotions because once again, your emotions are everywhere. Sometimes it has something to do with him. Sometimes it has nothing to do with him. Sometimes it has everything to do with you and your internal conflict.
Yeah,
So,
but
and that's something he can't control.
yeah, and that's why. Like last night, I was talking to my best friend, and she was like, how do you talk to somebody that don't have money? Because I'm not talking to him for his money. Why is that the first question everybody asks? Why do it matter if this man has money or not? He could be a bum on the street and have a heart of gold. You can't determine nothing a man does by his money. And I know some women think they can, but you can also find a man with financial stability and he can be a butthole and rude and mean and abusive. So people gotta pick their battles.
And that's why it's a very hard line to push when you go into a long journey. And I'm gonna say this: if LeVar Barr of 30 years of duty can't keep his woman, then we're doomed.
The kids and Beyonda, y'all finally came. I finally beat y'all somewhere.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
Brother, what's
fine.
going on?
How's everything? How's everything? Just been tied up and busy all the time.
It's
Family,
all
family, family. What's good, y'all?
it's all good, man. We know family come before this, man, and it's all good, man. Ain't nobody, we good. We understand definitely. You know, I understand.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Fifth said he ain't got no kids. He got kids.
Nah, I ain't got no. I ain't got.
Nah, not
I
yet, not yet.
nah.
Oh, hey,
I ain't got no kids, but
you do. You got God kid. That's your kid.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, shout outs to him. Yeah,
Yeah, see?
Yeah, you got. Yes, he
yeah,
does. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But yeah,
Kid.
right. I'm definitely a unk. In in the spirit and in blood, because my brother got a kid. But yeah, but check this out. So the topic, right?
hmm
What's more important in marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability? Go ahead, brother.
I think it's more emotional. Emotional. I think emotional availability. Although finances do play a factor, but I'm gonna lean towards emotional availability because you can have the finances, the income, but your lady's love language could be spending time, quality time, connection. Because a lot of women, that's their love language, spending time, quality time, and somebody to talk to and express themselves to, and and go on dates with and spend time. That's important. And getting to listen to me when I speak, that's important to us. That's just as important. Although finances these days do play a huge factor, but also the emotional part is more is more important, just as important, or even more. No, I'm more important because of connection, communication is a big factor in marriage too, and also being best friends is important in marriage too as well. So it's I would say emotions more. I'm a land right there, man.
Hey, Beyond, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think, man? What's more important in marriage? Emotional availability or financial stability? Go ahead, brother.
Well, it, I feel like they're equally important, and um, I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't build my life on either, because in Proverbs it says emotions are a good tool, but poor masters. So you can't base your life on emotions, and then money. The love of money is also evil as well. Obviously we're talking about stability and not, like chasing the bag and whatnot. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. You pick your poison. Like if you're if you're financially stable, right? But then like the guy you're with or the girl you're with isn't like emotionally available. Um, that's a different issue. I don't think that.
Got a phone call.
I'm having
Dang,
a hard
man.
time. I'm having a hard time explaining, kind of, because it's kind of a hard question. Um, like I feel like this, right? If we're poor, right? Like my emotions aren't gonna really help because I need to get out there and make some money. But if I'm making money, I'm not giving you any attention. That's a problem too. So I don't know, man. Pick your poison, I guess.
Well, let me do this before anybody else goes. I think we may have it wrong about what emotional availability is. So emotional avail. Well, we have some things that are right here. But I just don't want people to forget this part. Emotional availability is not just about being emotional or being sensitive to emotions. Also about your physical presence too, your attentiveness. You know what I'm saying? Your consistency. You know, I think women definitely, men and women definitely value consistency. You would say, right, Bianca?
Yeah, but it's hard to balance that though. If I'm a guy that makes a lot of money, but it requires me to be out there like all the time, it's hard to be available emotionally. Not that I don't care or don't love my woman, but like
That's his Wi-Fi.
Dang, Bianca, he was cooked. He was about to
I,
cook.
you know,
Yeah.
Definitely.
it depends.
I would
It
say
just depends.
I just to add to what he said. 'Cause I kind of agree with him. It's a hard. It's a rock. It's between a rock and a hard place, right? You got to pick one. Like you said, you got to pick one. If you want to be there presently and spending time, we're gonna be poor. I give you that. I got you that. We're gonna have the bare minimum. We're gonna have everything we need, and I'm gonna be there for you like a champion. But now, if you want that lifestyle, I see you on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause when I get home, I ain't gonna really want to. I'm not gonna have the energy and the wherewithal to really listen. I can listen to you, but I'm gonna be not at full energy. So I'm gonna need sleep, I need rest. To get back up and go and fight again. So the thing about money, once you start making it, it requires a lot of you. It requires a lot of your time and focus. So
Yeah.
therefore, if you're a woman, you should know this though. You should go in understanding this. You should not be so caught up in you know, your man being there all the time. If you know he's out there putting your lifestyle together, which you are expecting him to do and demanding him to do, so that should be a luxury. That should be okay. We have time for that later.
And hence the reason why I said financial stability is not my number one priority when it comes to someone that I'm talking to. Because if you don't have it now, you can work towards getting it. I don't have a problem supporting my significant other until he's at the place where he wants to be in life. Because who was helping, who will help me when I'm working to get to where I want to be? It would be my significant other. And you have to be able to return that same energy that he gave, his woman. She had to be willing to give him that same energy.
I can agree with that. Um, but here's I'm just gonna introduce this right into this conversation, kind of take it to the next level. And here's the problem I think with with why these things are neither one of them really will be able to carry the relationship because within relationships there's come a lot of boundaries, expectations, and standards, and that kind of that kind of dictates and regulates the relationship. You know what I mean? So if those standards or financial reason ain't met, that's going to put a strain on your relationship. And if the boundaries of hey, you need to spend more time with me and you need to pay attention to me because I need you here because I'll be going through stuff where I'm lacking because I'm out putting together a plan to try to build for the future, then once again our marriage is going to be compromised. So it's a very difficult thing, especially in 2026.
Yeah.
People hours are going up. The average American is going to have to work just to even at least keep above water, and not necessarily on initial, but retirement check, kids through college. He's got to work 12 to 15 hours a week. I mean, a day sometime, right? And that will definitely take away from the availability. And then get home, shower. So it's difficult, man. And
So I feel like if a man is working, let's say he's working 6 days a week and his only off day is Sunday, let that man rest. That's just my opinion. Let that man rest because on Monday he got to do it all over again.
facts.
Yeah, here's a woman that understands. Definitely.
Yes.
I don't care if he gave you 45 minutes of his time on a Sunday morning. You got it. You had his unconditional time for 45 minutes of that Sunday where he should be resting his thoughts and everything else. Don't touch that man. All you gotta do is feed him. Make
Hey,
sure he okay.
sounds great.
Massage his
Yeah.
feet, massage his back, do something while y'all
Right.
having a conversation. Maybe he'll massage yours while y'all talking. You never know.
You never
But
know.
leave that man alone on that off day because it's well deserved. If every bill was paid, the kids are fed, taken care of, clothed, um, all sports paid for, and you ain't spending no money out of your pocket, that man should be left alone.
No, that's a helpmate.
Yeah.
If that man is taking care of everything under this one roof, leave him alone. It shouldn't be no complaints. Because what are you complaining for? He
You know.
gave you the time that he had off work. Maybe he don't want to have a conversation Monday through Saturday. Leave him alone. Talk to him on Sunday within that 45 minutes. Whatever you got to say within that 45 minutes, make sure you say it. I don't care if he want to go sit on the game or go outside and walk the track. Leave that man alone. Let him clear his thoughts. He been working 6 days a week.
Let me ask a question to
6
kind
days a
of
week is tough.
let me ask something to really kind of put it on the other side because I know a lot of men don't get this question. For the fellas on the panel, would you marry a woman you don't see?
Um, marry a woman I don't see. Well, you know what? I think it's a understanding, but I would like to see her. I would like to,
It's the kids.
it would be kind of hard to spend that quality, intimate time if she's always gone all the time. That's rough. That's rough. That's rough. We got to stick it in some way somehow, but it's rough. That's rough. We will have to have a talk and maybe an understanding. Yeah, but to marry her, yeah, that would have to be an understanding.
So I'm a little confused by your question, right? You're saying marry a woman that I don't see? I'll be married
Yeah.
to a woman that I don't see.
Yeah, would you marry a woman like peep game ruthless? This is a woman who obviously has the things that you want, I would hope, right? But on the flip side, this is a woman who barely has any time for you. Could
What was
you
the question,
marry a
Phil?
woman you don't often see? I got you, Bianca. I got you.
Okay.
Like, could you marry a woman
And
who
she's
you
taking care
don't?
of me, and she's taking care of me. She's paying all the
Uh,
bills.
okay. You want to put it into? Is she
I'm
like
just
the
saying. I
breadwinner?
mean, yeah. I mean, if she's paying all the bills, and
Uh
and she give me a lifestyle, oh yeah, that's my boo. We get married, and I'm loyal.
huh. Okay.
See, but he being honest though. He's being honest.
because
Shout out to him. Shout
yeah,
out to
because
him.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this, right? I'm looking at the big picture. And when she come home, her bath water gonna be ran, and her feet gonna get rubbed,
Yeah.
right? Because I understand that this is a hard sacrifice. I've been there, done that. So if a woman does that, which this is very hypothetical and
Yeah.
very, we're kind of ripping on an illusion. But if that was that case, let's say I had a hurt back and I had to be more of a stay home person, and she was working 12 to 15 hours a day coming up. She would not have, when she gets home, she would not have to lift a finger. That's one. Two, I'm going to make sure if any complaints I have in my mind, that shit's going to be put I can compartmentalize that and put that on another time and place. But she will come in and she will have no turbulence. She's going to get everything walked right to that bed so she can rest and get up and do it again. And I'm going to be loyal.
I was Beyond. Are you there? Because I need to get him in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm right here. So
Yeah, I
I'm
was
still
asking.
driving. My fault.
No, it's all good because we talked about how Mila proposed this situation where they may be your husband may be working so much that he only got one day off. Let that man rest. I don't care if he gives you 45 minutes of his time. So I'm asking the fellas on the flip side, could they marry a woman with that level of availability where you don't see her, often? Dang, he got a call. Either that or he drove through some woods.
No, I heard you.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
was on my Google Maps trying to get myself together.
Okay.
On the flip side, you see, okay, so I'm gonna be honest. The same way that what's my guy's name up here?
Ruthless truth.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest too. So if you ask people about me as a person, they wouldn't say that I'm prideful. Cause I'm not prideful at all. I don't. Pride for me doesn't really bleed in my life that much. But this is an area where it would. I don't know if I can allow that. For me to just be taken care of when I know that I can work and bring home the money. I can't do that. That's just me. But it depends though. So are you saying that the woman in this scenario makes a lot more than me, where I don't have to work at all?
Well, beyond that's Ruthless point. He was saying that he under the contingent on the thing that he would marry that if she was the main person taking care of everything. That's when he could do it.
Yeah, but that's the problem with that is when you put women in that kind of position, they're not good people.
Nope.
They hold it over you and they won't show you any respect.
Every time.
Every time. She might be okay with it the first year or so, but after a while, she will be contempt about you, not doing anything.
If I'm taking the kids to school, you know what I'm saying? I'm putting them on I'm taking them off the bus. House is immaculate. She come in, she doesn't have to run her bath water, nothing. She ain't got to cook nothing. Everything is right there for her. I'm going to make sure that, and obviously once again, I'm speaking in a very, very, very illusional mindset at this point. This is not real. But I'm just saying, because I have the experience, I would probably appreciate her a lot more. And I agree with the guy at the bottom that women aren't really good at this when it comes to the coming home and seeing the man ain't doing nothing. But I'm just saying, if she can accept me as I am in my state of being, and we can get along, shit, I'm there.
Yeah, it really depends on the woman. Okay, is there a unicorn of a woman out there that can handle being the breadwinner and I'm at home? Sure, there is, right? But if we're talking about average women are not going to appreciate their man if they're the ones making the majority of the money. That's just not how that works.
Well, Beyonda, I'm gonna be honest. You've known me for a while now. I've done it for 10 years. Okay. My kid's father, before he started working in the trucking industry, I literally helped this man with everything for 10 years straight. And I'm going to say this because this also plays a role in it. Once he got himself together, he didn't care anymore. His main thing was, oh, my bills paid, so I can go out. I don't need to sit in the house no more. My car fixed. I can do this. I can do that. He never said in return, what do you need? Do the kids need anything? Are you okay over there on your side? Mind you, I was perfectly fine, but it's the fact that when he got on his feet, he didn't care anymore.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem. The problem is that, like, not talking about anyone here, of course, but if the guy is willingly under a woman financially, where like she's making a bunch of the money and taking care of everything, the guy is going to pretty much become selfish. I'll tell you why. Like to your point, right? He'll take advantage of the woman's, niceness. She's taking care of all the bills or whatever, blah blah blah. And then when it's flipped, he's gonna go for someone else. But let's say for me, for example, right? I'm on my way to be, to making a lot of money, hopefully, God willing. And my lady's been with me since, before I even got a good job. So when I become financially stable, it's gonna be, the proper dynamic. She's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't
But
believe she's
but a
gonna
man
go
but, but
anywhere.
a man will. A man will leave.
Well,
Yeah,
Or a man will take
I
advantage of the
well,
woman.
not all the time a man will leave. It's just the fact that before before then you got to think about it, because before everybody and everything that he wanted before he got financially stable, um it was no help besides his significant other. But then when you get it, you brush her off, and everybody that didn't help you before, you he and a ha ha in their face.
mm,
That's not okay with me.
I, I,
That's
I
that's
agree. I agree.
that's one thing that I will never ever settle for ever again. I'm never doing that again. And I
So
know everybody always say never, but I'm saying never with the whole word in capital letters
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would
and the
say that,
exclamation point. Never.
right. We all have our experiences, right? On both sides, right? Women
Right.
have. We all hurt each other in some way. It just, I guess we're as humans have to embrace the fact that, right, there's no guarantees. There is no formula to guarantee you the desired outcome. All we can do is when we're engaging with someone that we're interested in, hope that we can somewhere meet in the middle
Mhm.
and try to make it work. But that's like, to me, that's especially 2026, that's a strong, strong, strong hope. But once again, there is no guarantees. If you do this, that, this person's gonna do this and this and that. So it's something we just have to learn from and move on.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we got somebody new on the panel. Do I say your name, Sai?
Yes, I.
Okay, how you doing, Sai? Welcome to the panel. I just like to let people know what the ground rules are being new to this channel. Okay, that is up here. Follow TikTok guidelines. No cursing, no foul language. Okay, and we'll answer the prompt first before we get into the conversation with everyone else. So the prompt today is: what's more important in marriage, emotional availability or financial stability? You have the floor.
So though I feel like both is needed, emotional availability is a lot more important. You could, have somebody financially take care of you, but you might not even be able to be yourself around this person. You might not be able to talk to this person, communicate with this person. So yeah, I
That
land my
was
plane.
that was in and out. But I mean, it's just a hard line. It's a hard line to push. Entering a relationship in this day and age is very complex, more than ever before, because of, number one, the women have a lot more access to things
My
without
part,
some
dinosaurs
commitment.
are not stupid.
Right.
Sorry
And
about that.
yeah, a lot of women can access things without commitment. So, you know, anytime you enter a commitment, it is very, very fickle because options are, if it just doesn't work, I could always continue where I was before, and I was fine. So yeah, the marriage is a very tough. And back in the day, even back in the day, it was hard. Marriages was hard, because you can imagine now. So yeah, the emotional availability, the financial stability, and all those things are like, I don't know. It seems like everybody's searching for the same thing, but nobody's willing to give it.
Yeah, because they don't know how.
All right, like I think having financial stability is something that every adult should have, period, for themselves. So that's kind of why I was like, it's also important. But what's money without love, really?
And what's love without money?
Mm.
Well, they definitely, like I mentioned earlier, they're both definitely important to have from in a relationship in terms of a survival standpoint on the money part as well, because money also speaks to your ability to be in a safe neighborhood. More than just buying cars and houses. I ain't just talking about that, but just it could come into your ability of being a safe neighborhood, having the necessary resources that you need to get by and stuff like that. So I understand that beyond just a lifestyle. But then, I want to ask this question. Y'all ever seen homeless couples?
Yeah.
Brother, I've seen homeless couples hold each other down. They they don't have a nickel and a dime to rub together.
Been together for 30 years.
Yo, like not too far from where I live, man. I swear, this man and this woman together, all they got is each other. Yeah, they be, they on the streets, but that man go out there and, you know, do what he got to do to get whatever coins together, and he goes out there and makes sure that him and his woman both eat.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah. I
know?
see. Yeah, homeless couple. I've seen them quite a bit.
Yeah, and homeless couples
But
be. Yeah, go ahead, Mila.
they relationships last longer than a couple that just now meeting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like downtown Chicago, we have this place called Tent City. It's where all the uh homeless people come together. They got their tents, and that's where they live, basically. And it's always this. It's like two or three couples that's been down there for like almost 40 years. Like mind you, they move from place to place, but I always see these people together with one same person. And I aspire, not in a bad way. I'm not saying I want to be homeless or anything like that, but I aspire a relationship like the ones that they have, because if you can be with somebody with nothing and turn around and be with them when they have everything together, when they all have their stuff together, that's life. Cause you're not gonna find that for real.
And I believe all the homeless couples I see, um, they are literally with each other on the pretense of just them. The people I see with success, money, houses, cars, everybody's complaining.
Yeah.
Everybody's
It's
complaining.
the people
Yeah.
with everything that
Oh
complains
yeah,
about everything,
yeah. We
and the
got we
people
got the
with
car,
nothing.
we got the house. But you're not there, or you're there too much, or you're there too little, or
Mm,
we got money, but we need more money. Like, why can't my friends is I see nobody happy in these successful situations.
right.
Yeah, I'm back now. Sorry, I was driving. I'm parked now for a little bit.
Yeah, I've seen the most successful. relationships have the most turbulence. And
Yeah.
I'm like, if you can't put it like this, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna land my plane. If you get everything you did, a desired outcome, and you can't be happy in that, you are doomed. Because there's just, I mean, I just can't understand why people can't get along in a most successful manner.
Yeah, that's the foundation that I see. I mean, obviously, I'm not in their relationships, but when you see homeless couples really look out for each other, you definitely want to aspire to their level of humility to have such a relationship. Not that you want to be them, like Mila said, but their level of humility is just different. That's because they've been humbled so much. You have that situation where you have some people who had it all and lost it or never had it to begin with. Like you have that as well. But like Ruthless said, there's an understanding that those two couples have. Because they don't have all the money. They don't even they probably don't even know if they're even gonna have a bite to eat that day. But they got each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm fifth. I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but I was raised by YT people. Okay. And I'm saying that because you can't say the actual color on here.
Yeah.
And the man that raised me and my brother, well, okay, yeah, I can say that. The man that raised me and my brothers, he passed away, right? So his wife
My
and
condolences.
children had to, thank you. His wife and children had to find their way because they depended on him for financial stability. And once he passed away, it was it's no more big house, 6 cars not in the driveway anymore, no backyard pool, no backyard pond, no land, nothing. They literally had to sell everything, and they ended up moving back to Ohio.
Mila, no life insurance policies or investments to the side?
Yeah, but he didn't leave it to them.
Oh. All right,
He
let me
he
know.
left it to me and my brothers because he always said, if you don't appreciate what you have while I'm here, you'll never have it when I'm gone. And I guess it was taken for granted, and they were not in the will or anything.
Wow.
And that's the thing about the financial part, right? I've watched it corrupt people. The more money that comes in, the more it corrupts. Money is a tool that we could use to get nice things, but it doesn't make a family structure stronger. It makes it everybody's entitled to what you got. Because if you're the man and you're making all the money, the kids they looking at, okay, where this old man gonna croak? You know what I'm saying? They feel entitled.
Yeah. I have a pretty good example of that.
It's always the spoiled kids that think they're going to get something at the end of the day, and then they end up with nothing. Because
Yeah.
why didn't you follow the rules that were given to you beforehand? Why
Right.
did it take for someone else to receive what you were supposed to receive for you to try to get your life together?
Because money corrupts and people get entitled and they think that they deserve everything they got coming.
Yeah, I know this. Me and my fiance have family friends. Well, I mean, yeah, they're family friends, I guess. We know like
You know that?
the mom and the dad, and the kids. Like I guess according to Jordan, my fiance's little brother, they went on a cruise a little while ago with the family, and he said that like the other kids like they didn't even thank their parents for taking them on the cruise, but they just felt entitled to everything that they got. So they're definitely spoiled and whatever. Like they're good kids. Like they're really nice or whatever. But like in terms of like appreciating stuff, they don't really like be thanking people or anything like that. So it is a difference.
And you know what I've seen under the sun. You get a woman. You make, like, let's say you have an average job and you guys are together, and you come up. I've seen women get jealous of the men for becoming more successful than them.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't believe she's, oh, you need to do better. And then when they do better, then they like, wait a minute, hold up. You get more attention than them. People look at you more. A lot of women don't like that. That's why it's in this era, single and alone is more peace. It's just more peace in that. It's just more peace because it just seems like everybody's shooting for the stars, but nobody wants to really give a genuine approach to a relationship. They have all their their ambitions and everything. To give a relationship takes selflessness, not selfishness.
Yeah, you're right.
I do have a question though. Your Fifth, are you there? Fifth?
Yeah, I'm here. My bad.
Yeah, I have a question.
I was looking up Jackie Chan's daughter's name because you asked me.
Oh,
Her name is Etta.
okay.
Yeah, I name an example that Jackie Chan's daughter is not in his will. They have a very strange relationship. It's from his first woman. And but anyway, go ahead.
My question is this, right? We're talking about emotional availability, right? But clearly, men and women define that differently. So wouldn't you? So whenever I hear a woman nowadays talk about emotional availability, right, on camera or whatever, the way that I take it, like the way, like when they're explaining it, they always say it in a way like they want the man to. They're looking at emotional availability through their lens, right? And they want the man to like acquiesce to their emotions and like do what they do emotionally. But when a man doesn't do that, they say, "Oh, he's toxic," or they always like say some weird stuff about the guy not expressing the emotions the way she would express the emotions. So, like the definitions of that, we have to kind of like define that. That way, both parties understand what both like want. I guess that makes any sense.
So I would say that for the woman who's talking, you need to ask her what emotional availability is first. Because I'm telling you, if you ask 50 women in a room what's emotional availability to them, you're gonna
All
get
different
50
answers.
different you're gonna get 50 different answers. So
Yeah.
to the woman who's talking, you need to ask her what it is. And I'm gonna tell you, when she answers it, it's either gonna be in that list or there's gonna be some key things that are in the list of emotional availability that she did not mention because she didn't know that was there. But
Right.
but according to what my research shows me, emotional availability also is your presence as well. So
Yeah.
if a woman says, well, out of the emotional availability that he wasn't physically available, then we can go from there.
Right. I just know that, like, when we're talking about women in this generation, coming up, the younger ones, I guess, they always allude to, the man acting in a way that she acts emotionally. And if he doesn't do that, then it's seen as, he's a red flag or whatever. I've seen it
So
plenty of times where it's like, it's kind of weird, like, because men and women, they don't process emotions the same way. So how why would I expect a woman to act the way I act in certain situations? Like if a burglar comes in the house, her reaction is going to be, I'm going to go, hide and, get the kids or whatever. But my reaction is, I got to kill someone, or, I have to unalive someone. It's two different things. We act differently. So don't you like hear my point though? Like women do have that unrealistic expectation about guys, kind of like processing the same things that they process in the same way.
Yeah,
So
I hear what you. I do agree with you. I do agree that it is a. I said it earlier in the conversation. Like I said, men, what we do is we provide analytical substance. We desire problem solving, money making,
Logic.
logic. All those things. This is what we're bringing to the table with our money, right? Now, if you
So
want me to go into be a therapeutic, you want me to be therapeutic. That's you got to go to the professionals for that. You got to, because no man, we're not. We don't have no emotional. Like, that's you. I don't know. I can't teach you how to fix you. I can't do that.
and you can't
yeah.
force it either. You can't really force me to feel the way you feel. Like if we're watching a movie, right, and you cry, I don't cry. I'm not like I'm not a robot. I
Great.
feel
That's a great
I
example.
feel the same things, but I'm not gonna cry about it.
Yeah.
I understand that it's a sad scene. I felt it. I feel it. I'm not gonna cry about it though, but you are. That's fine. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
So I gotta. So my response to you, Bianna, when you asked it again. No, you're right, and I was gonna get to that. What it is that what the complaint that I'm hearing from some of the ladies is a man's willingness to be open and transparent with them about their emotions and feelings at the time. And
Me.
so, which is not going to be the same, which is not going to be the same when a woman's doing that. And it's not going to be at the capacity that the woman is doing that. Case in point, if a woman is being open with her feelings 5 days a week, out of the month of 30 days, and out of that 30 days from him, he might, let's say, get to that point when day 10 or day 25. He didn't do it as much as she did it, and she could say that he's not really emotional available or has emotional intelligence. If that's where you're trying to go to, Beyond.
So, okay, here's my question. I'll give you an example, a scenario, right? If you ask women, right, and I would say women under the age of, let's say 25, 18 and 25, right? And you ask them, you say, hey, is it attractive or is it okay for a man to cry? A lot of them are going to say yes. But the problem with that is women's emotions and what they find attractive is roll of the dice. So I can roll the dice. If I cry, she's okay with it, cool. But a lot of women don't like that. And it depends on the situation, right? If I'm crying about my mom dying, then I would hope you don't leave me because my mom just died, But if I'm crying about work or something that's not really worth shedding a tear over, that might turn off women in general. But the thing is, women will say something, but then when a man does that thing that they said that was okay, they are like, oh well, maybe I'm not attracted to that. So when women lie, they don't lie willingly, but they're not really truthful because they don't know what they want. If a woman says, oh yeah, it's cool for a man to cry, and then I cry, and then you start treating me like, oh well, you're not really like the guy that I thought you were, then you're a liar.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying, Beyonda. But me as a person, because I have brothers, I have 6 brothers and 1 sister. I tell my brothers every time, they friends, whatever the case may be, it's okay for a man to cry, because how else would you express yourself? You can't go around beating people up. You can't go
Yes,
outside.
we can.
Pew
Yes, we
pew
can.
people.
Yes, we can.
Um, you gonna it's never beating people up and pew pewing people is not gonna solve anything
Right. I get
besides
that.
you going to a place where you don't want to be.
Yep.
So it's okay for a man to be emotional. You don't have to be emotional in public.
That's what I'm saying though. Like
You
cry in
can
front of
be
you as a
emotional.
woman.
Yeah,
And cry in
right.
front of you.
You can
Yeah.
cry in front of your significant other by yourself in your car, like in your
Right.
Yeah, but
office, whatever the case may be. But for a woman to say they want an emotional man, then when he starts showing his emotions, you got a problem with it. I have a problem with her.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I display my emotions in front of you, how are you gonna handle it? Are you gonna be okay with it, or are you gonna be like, ooh, he isn't really
You
a
got.
man?
there's,
You
I
know?
I
tell
would say this.
That's what I'm
everybody.
saying.
There,
I tell all women, girls, you have to accept that man or that boy as he is, because not everybody know how to express their emotions.
so
Everybody is not emotionally equipped
I think
to deal with the things that they deal with in life.
I think
Like me myself, I'm a whole crybaby. I don't care.
that's normal.
I complain, I cry, I do all of the above,
Um,
and I don't get no backlash from it.
Wait,
But
so
because
when
you're a woman
somebody
I'm,
see
though.
a
I'm gonna say this
man
though.
do it, when
I'm
somebody see a man do it, it's oh, he a punk, he this, he that,
Right.
he can't do this and he can't do that. That's not that don't him being emotional don't define him as a
so
Right.
man.
so I'm gonna say this, right. It's very rare. A woman, average woman, or a guy, probably if you see a man cry, it's probably once or twice in your whole life. But typically, if you see a man cry, he's very dangerous. Everything probably is gonna have to go. So I don't think really women really want that because once again, our emotional charge is more of a breaking point than it is a outlet. So if I cry, now maybe at the funeral everything might be good, but it depends on what that funeral is about. If somebody took out my mom in some sort of reckless act and something, right? Now this could be an act. Now I might cry because I want revenge. I might because of anger inside. So I wouldn't agree. Sometimes retribution is satisfying, even though you might go to jail for a long time, or you might hurt somebody. And well, that's just it's satisfying. It gives me closure. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So
I understand what Mila. Okay, so this is what and Mila, you can say if I'm wrong or not. There's a healthy way for guys to display their emotions without keeping it inside. Because
Right. Beyond you breaking up.
like can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying is that you don't really want an overly emotional man. Like a man that doesn't know how to handle his emotions is dangerous. That's why people are in jail or they're not alive anymore.
Right.
Right? That's a difference. So is that what you're trying to allude to? Like men, like like taking care of themselves emotionally so that they don't have to go to that
Yes.
mindset.
I just think I
That's
just think
that's
that men, we do know how to handle our emotions. We just handle it differently.
Well,
We
no, that's not true because men,
no.
if that was
we
true, they wouldn't
we
be in jail. They
we
wouldn't be going to schools and pewing kids.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's my point. That's my point I'm making, right? We handle it differently. I didn't say we weren't emotional. When a man gets to most men who are emotional, if they do display emotion other than a funeral, it's most likely something that they're very angry about, more so, and they want some sort of closure. So, but just breaking down because of a movie or breaking down because we get an argument and you make me real upset, I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to go outside, smoke a blunt, and we'll come back and try this again. Our emotions,
Smoke some
we don't,
trees.
we don't really invest heavily in our emotions all the time. Like it's rare, but
I
when
mean,
we do,
there's definitely nuance. You have funerals, weddings.
yeah,
Like if me and Fifth are at church and he starts crying because of the Holy Spirit, that's fine too. Like that. There is nuance there, but like to your point, like it just depends. Like if it's like life, and I'm crying
yeah,
about life and crying about my feelings, like
that's something we're
women
not going
aren't
to
gonna
do.
find that attractive. There's not.
Well,
They can
well
say that
we
they
just,
will, but they just will not.
but we
You
don't
know
typically do that though. We don't
you know
typically do
what
that.
you know what's interesting, and men, we do it too. And I don't know if we're doing this to each other or society, whatever it is. We're basically telling, you know, we're basically telling men yeah, you could cry, but if you do, it gotta be because of this, or this. Obviously, we never tell women that. This is what I think it is, right? I understand what you're saying, Bianca, about the attractiveness, right? Because yes, a woman will say, "Well, I don't like a man crying all the time," right? I get it. It is not that you're crying all the time, but let's get into why a man could cry all the time. If a man is crying all the time, are we are we in a position where we can say that brother needs help in a good way, or are we in a position where we're saying that brother needs help and we're clowning him?
That's the difference. So like so it's that's the double standard of our realities, right?
Yes.
Women are allowed to be emotional, whether good or bad, and no one's gonna really like give her any grief about it. But with a guy, either he's gonna be clowned or it's gonna be on the news. You know what I'm saying? Like good or bad for guys. It's a lose lose. But it really depends on like I said, it really depends on the situation, right? If you're around good dudes, right, and you are really going through something, and you start crying in front of your guy friends, like I guarantee you they will not clown you, right? But when you're in middle school, high school, maybe even college, then sure, people are going to definitely clown you for having emotions. I feel like that's the problem. Is when you're younger, right? When you're younger, there's a stigma on how to handle certain things, and if you don't handle it that way, then you like if you don't conform to like what all the kids are doing nowadays, then you're seen as outlier and you're seen as weird, right? If I'm a guy and I express that I'm sad about XYZ in high school, well, I'm definitely getting roasted. I'm getting cooked. There's no way. That's why, you know what I mean? That's the nature of middle school, high school, college, right? I would say the only public situation where guys can cry is really in elementary and below. But after they get in high school or middle school and above, that's where it starts to get a little, you guys can't really do that because then they will get made fun of, and then, that's the whole, that's the narrative around guys' emotions. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's how it is. I grew up in it. You know, and the problem is that now it's two different spectrums. Now it's the extreme on the other side, right? Where adults and whatever are telling guys to be too emotional, to be too soft, to be too feminine, right? So now it's flipped. So now we're raising guys that who are too sissy to handle, to man up and do stuff.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I would say that we are in a state, right? Because military is still dominated by men, and paramilitary is still dominated by men. So we do have enough men. Men are still largely. Thing about men, we haven't changed. That's the problem, right? The women have changed. The women are demanding more from us than what we already are, and this is where we're getting into this gender war. This is these kind of hard conversations, and a lot of times men, we I think it's kind of our fault a little bit because we try to make those or meet those those demands.
Let me ask you this: You really don't think that little boys are being taught to be too emotional?
No. This is no. The little boys are they're pretty much still. It's still the same, right? It's still most dudes are going to go live average lives and be husbands, or they're going to live. Yeah, it's not.
I
It's
don't
not
agree with that, though. I'm just saying like this for the sole purpose of the fact that men are turning themselves into women now.
Well, no, that's just that. I will say that there
That's
is
part
a
of it, though.
rise
That's an extreme
in
version
that
of it,
level,
but it's still part of it, though.
but they're still minority though. So that's not a majority.
Yeah. It's
No.
still.
I'm saying that's the extreme.
He's saying it's on
example
the
of it.
rise more than it's ever been, but it's still a minority.
It's the extreme example of it. I'm just saying that because like that's the extreme example of it, right? But then what I'm saying is that a lot of guys, right, male feminists and whatever, they're becoming more feminine. And that's, but I'm not saying, but it's done by design though, to like make men less masculine.
I don't think I would have to disagree. I don't think they're becoming more feminine. I do think that they're more leaning to pleasing women and making sure women has a lot of grace and they're kind of
Well, time out because I'll
That's a
tell
mistake.
my son is 7 years old. Okay, he's my only boy. I have two girls and one boy, and I always tell my son it's okay to be emotional, depending on what you're being emotional about. Like I don't Ruthless, you were talking and I accidentally cut you off. Didn't know I was not on mute. And my son was crying because my daughter told him dinosaurs are stupid. So that's not a reason for you to be emotional.
well, yeah, he'll grow out of that though. Once he gets house 7, so 12, 13, he'll be full and ready to go. Now, I would say this though. There are some men more emotional than the other men. I
Yeah.
would agree with that because not every man is. I know I've been simulated amongst men, and we're picking a leader out. We get the leader who's most stable, right? But in the end, when men typically get 12, 13, 15 years old, they're ready to go, right? They're not they're ready to get a job. They're ready to go out here and provide, protect, whatever, right? Whichever way they go. So I don't think still the majority of men are men, right? I just now what I will agree with Lovely on this part that a lot of dudes come up under single moms, they are more likely to be sympathetic to women in a way where it can be harmful. And I think that's a because they don't have a man in the house to really kind of balance. So yeah, I think that could be harmful in a way because now they're totally going above and beyond for these women who are taking advantage of them. So I could see that being, a issue. But other than that, they're still going to be men, and they're going to have to learn that you can't trust everybody. You can't love everybody the same.
Yeah.
I kind of want
Everybody's
to
on a different
I kind of want to explain my position as to why I think that a lot of guys are, not the same as they used to be. I'll tell you why. It's because back then, men used to want to, stand up for what they believed in, right? And that was a problem because if the majority of men were doing that, that kind of meant that the ones who have power, i.e., the government, they couldn't really do anything because of men have the monopoly on force. So if a lot of men say, yeah, the government isn't doing a good job, let's overthrow them, that's a problem for them, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to do a lot of things to kind of like put obstacles in our way so that men don't really have that spark in them. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that men are feminine. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that the fight that used to be in men isn't really there. Because look at what's been going on, Why is it that there's so much evidence for so much injustice or whatever, but a lot of guys aren't coming together to, do anything about it? It's because
Because a lot of us are divided. That's why, right? A lot of us have.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah,
But it has to do with
that's what
masculinity. It's just different
it kind
ideologies.
of does though. It
Right?
does though.
It's different ideologies, right? Some are lefts, some are rightists, some are Republicans, Democrats, and then you got your different things, right? So we divide a lot. That's man's weakness. That is why women are kind of having their way because men are so divided on how we should treat each other, or how we should treat women, or how we about life, right? So because men are so divided in this part, we tend to have a lot of judgment about each other. We talk around each other's back. We get angry, and all those things, right? The some guys say, "Oh, well, you're a simp." Some guys say you're a trick. Some guys say you're a cow. You know what I mean? And all these prejudgment things, right? But ultimately, it's not healthy for us in this trying to be a man growing up. But it's something you either have to conquer and get in where you fit in, or you're gonna have to But still, I just think that the problem with men is
Mariana.
we have to learn to be less judgmental towards each other.
I mean, that's a good point too. I'd say that.
We got to show a little more empathy, right? And I'm not saying that some dudes don't need to be checked. I'm not saying that. Sometimes you have to, but for the most part, if a guy is spending money on this woman, and we seeing that he's doing it recklessly, we gotta let him live to learn. Can't sit there and call him and call him bees and use this
Yeah,
and that's just, to me,
that's
that's not
true.
going to solve anything.
No, it won't.
Yeah, yeah. Your fifth,
Definitely won't.
your fifth. I got to head out, but I'll good panel talking to y'all. I was appreciate you meeting you, Ruthless. Good conversation.
That's, yeah,
I'll
beyond nice to meet you.
I'll catch y'all later.
Yo, before you
Yeah, I'll
go,
catch y'all
Beyond,
later.
you there? You there? Real quick.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, yeah.
I'm getting off work early tonight, man. I may go live again tonight.
Oh, I'll be on. Don't worry about it.
Okay, it's gonna be like 9 o'clock
I'm
your
off.
time.
I'm off
If
tomorrow.
so, okay.
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow, so yeah, I can do that. That's fine.
All right, cool. All right, man. I'll see you
All
later.
right, later.
Yeah, so I wanted to kind of J Dub. I'll go live on TikTok tonight. Not YouTube. YouTube I do Mondays, but yeah, I'll go live on TikTok. Yeah, because I'm getting off work early today. I'm doing like a partial day, but yeah. So anyway, I kind of wanted to get to Beyond's point, and then your point, Ruthless. Emotion is not just crying, right?
Right.
So one of the things that men are also kind of battling with is quick to anger. That's not a good thing either, to be quick to anger. And you mentioned who could raise you, right? So there's two types of raisings when being raised by a single mother. You could be raised by a single mother who has anger issues, because women got that too. And then you could be raised by a single mother who is, from the crying part of the emotion. If a man was raised in a house by a woman, by a single, just sticking to the single woman, single mother topic because you brought it up, right? Or somebody brought it up. If the young boy is growing up seeing a mother only express her emotions with anger, wouldn't he pick that up as well?
No.
No? Okay, go
No,
ahead.
because so let me tell you. I'm gonna give a harsh reality, a harsh truth. Society raises children, not parents. Parents, we advise them and put structure to live in the house so that the house can be balanced. And that part of that structure is, how to, be cordial, civil, and all those things. But ultimately, society raises your child. So when your child leaves your house, when she's gone 80% of the time, right? In school, he picks his friends out. He's looking to build his life the way he or she desires, right? So, and then their personality of who they are develops in their environment that they're in. Then every time your child comes home to you, you might be getting a different person and you don't even know it. Because they might experience something at school. They might
But
experience
it
something at
starts.
school.
But it
That,
starts at home, though.
I mean, I'm
That
just saying that the home is a structure, right? We give them the basic blueprint. But when your child leaves to that school, they're on their own. They got to do what they got to do. You can't be there to hold their hand. An example of that is my daughter. I mean, I think my daughter one time told me, "Oh, she came and told her mom that, oh, these girls are bullying her at school and stuff like that, right?" And her mom called me. He's like, "I don't know what to do." And I told my daughter, "It's something you're going to have to live with because we can't go up there. Now we could make it aware to the principal and all them, say, hey, but they're not going to do nothing until they're not going to act until something happens. They need something to happen, and we can't go and tell them kids nothing because then their parents can say we're being, what I mean, and we can get in a lot of trouble." So I told my daughter, I gave her advice. I said, "Look, don't try to walk away, stay focused, and if it gets out of hand, protect yourself at all costs, but
exactly.
try to avoid." So my point in that scenario is my daughter had to be the one to resolve that. We could not
Bro.
resolve that for her.
Okay, so what if she tried every possible way to resolve it, and all things are just hitting her at one time? What?
Well, she did. They had to squabble
Okay.
up.
So so let me tell you this. I have a
Yeah.
14-year-old, right? And throughout the whole school year, I think she's been suspended like 7 or 8 times. They even talked about failing my daughter, which in the state of Indiana, you can't fail a seventh grader for this school year. You can't fail a seventh grader. Don't know why their rules are like that, but that's just one of their state rules. State laws, sorry. Um, but it's this one little girl that kept bothering her. And I told my daughter, I said it's the end of the school year. I don't care if you get suspended because you walked away from her multiple times. You told teachers, you told the principal, the assistant principal, secretary. You done did everything you're supposed to do. I said if she walk up to you and say anything else to you, just handle your
Boom.
hands.
Do what you gotta do.
Handle your hands.
Handle
I'm
it.
gonna wait. I'm
I
gonna
told my
wait in
daughter
the
the same
parking
thing.
lot
That's
for you.
crazy.
I'm gonna wait in the parking lot for you, and I did her mama, her sister,
Oh
her
my,
auntie, brother, cousin try to come up to you and
lovely,
say something or
lovely,
swing on you. This
lovely.
ain't
I
that.
did the same. I said the same thing. You said, "Oh my gosh."
No, I don't because I don't play about my kids. And man, my two
I don't
little
either.
kids.
Me too.
My son got kicked off the bus for fighting. Okay, my 9-year-old daughter fought two little boys on the same bus. Like I'm not my kids. My kids ain't gonna be no punks.
Right.
No,
They fight with each other, and I let them.
fought a boy.
I let my kids fight with each other. Mind you, it don't be to the point where they have bruises.
So yeah, that's my point is when your kid goes to school, they have to. We can give them advice, but they have to solve for those problems themselves. The school can't do it. The police can't do it.
It's
The
not
government can't
the
do it.
school that it's not because the school can't do it. The school don't want to do it.
Well, they can't. There's a bunch of laws protecting. They can't go up to a kid who hasn't done nothing yet physically. You know what I mean? They can issue that kid, well, hey, we're watching you, whatever. But they can't. If that kid has like saying things and doing stuff, the school's pretty much hands are tied. They can't go because the parents will say, hey, you're bullying. You know, they get through a lawsuit against the school. So it's a lot of things the school can't do. But at the end of the day, those kids have to solve their problems themselves when it comes to whatever trivial thing they're going to. And once again, as parents, we can give them advice them best case scenario, worst case scenario, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, that kid has to live their life. So
Yeah.
I would not, I want to say this. It does. That's why I don't blame single moms for the community. I'm against that rhetoric, right?
Yeah.
I'm totally against that because I've seen successful kids come from single mother homes. I've seen failure kids come from two-parent homes, right?
Yep.
So I do think as a society we put too much emphasis on well the parents need to be better or do this better. When at the end of the day that kid has to go somewhere and live their life. And when they're in that school, they're literally in another world.
Yeah, but you want to know one thing that I absolutely hate is like when people get older and they be like, "Well, I had both of my parents in my life,
Yeah, I know.
but your life ain't nothing." I
Right,
wanted to say the S word, but your life ain't nothing just
right,
because you had two parents.
right.
The information that your two parents gave you, you took it, ran with it, and didn't apply it. You still out here asking for $5 and $10. So what we doing?
Yeah. So that's my point to the host is we as society have to understand we cannot control everything about everybody's people's lives. Can't. Even our kids, our cousins, whatever, we can't. We can be there much as we can verbally, and we can even do a little disciplining. But that kid can go against you,
Yeah.
or that kid could listen to you. That's at their discretion. So just because a boy has an over emotional mom doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, he's going to be overly emotional. Because my mom was Very emotional. Very, very emotional. I was very opposite of him.
I just told you I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm lying, I'm flying. My feet still on the ground.
Yeah. My mom used to cry all the damn time. You know what I used to do? I would get my mom a napkin or something. Here, mom, wipe your tears. Let's go. We go. You know what I mean? I've never been. I'm not a heavy emotional person.
Let me tell you that I cried when my kids said their first words. That ain't even nothing to cry about. That ain't nothing to cry about. I cried when my kids first took their first steps. That's nothing to cry about. I'm just an emotional person.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
crying is not just. I mean, there is a such thing as tears of joy. I mean, even biblically, people weep because great things happen in their life. So I don't think it's got to be just be more so something bad got to happen that you got to cry. There's nothing wrong with tears of joy, right?
But no, it's not. But still, fifth, my cousin just passed away on the 10th of last month. His funeral was Monday, and I went. I was the only person in there that did not cry. Literally, everybody's bawling. I'm just sitting there with a whole smile on my face. And everybody talking about, what you smiling for? Because my cousin said he don't want nobody to cry at his funeral. I don't have a reason to cry. That was his last dying wish. Don't cry at my funeral. So, like when I say I shed my tears before the day they told me he passed away, but at that funeral, I was not one of them emotional people.
yeah. So once again, what my emotions? See, 'cause here's the thing. Here's the thing about emotions, right? Emotions are triggers, right? They just ain't something. They just ain't something that we turn off and on. They're most emotions are triggered. There's certain things that trigger them, and that's something that I think you can equate that to somebody cutting you off on the freeway and you get the road rage, right? They get emotional, they get angry because somebody cut them off, right?
Me.
Now these people are citizens. They do good everything every right every day, and somebody cut them off. They want to reach for their pistol. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They got triggered emotionally and they go in too much. So yeah, it is emotions is it's a great area of one's life. It's a great area of one's life, right? You
Yeah,
just
but my road rage ain't that bad now. I
no,
ain't gotta pull out no
well, I'm
pew
just saying
pew.
in Cali, it's a lot goes on out here, right?
Oh
but
no, that's too much.
but it's I'm just giving the context of emotions, right? Their emotions are typically triggered and by certain things that happen in your life. So it could be like she said, her kids walking, or it could be you lost a lot of money, or somebody says something to you. That's why I tell people words have meaning, even though they may not mean nothing to you, but they mean something to that other person. Because if you trigger their emotions by those words, it can cost you your life.
Yeah, that's true.
So, oh wow, why they do it? It was just words. Okay, yeah, keep saying them, and you might not get the results you like. So this is why a lot of us act civil and respectful because we ain't trying to get nothing triggered on us.
Well, no, we not. But somebody can just be having a real bad, messed up day,
Yes.
and you are in their view of harming someone. That's I don't care what I do, how I do it. Any job that I've ever worked, and I see somebody mad, sad, down, depressed, whatever you want to be, I always got to find a way to make somebody smile.
Yep, you do.
So I'm that person. Even if I'm going through something and I see somebody else going through something, I'm always gonna find the good in somebody else to make them smile. That's just me. I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I even got that ability to do so. That's just me. Like we could be dead having a real bad conversation, and I just say something random just to make you laugh. That's just me.
Yeah, and then once again, we all have our different personalities. Understandable. I'm one of the type of people too. I make people laugh, and so I'm not a comedian, but I know how to say some funny things here and there. But yeah, we all have our personalities. Some people they got bad personalities. But bottom line, and when we get into these relationships, we just have to try the best to do to find who we're compatible with. Compatibility is currency in 2026. You know, I am anti-relationship and anti-marriage because I just don't think, I think they're too complicated and too complex to try to achieve long term. But hey, nobody's gonna listen to me. They're gonna keep going for it and whatever. But it is a very, I would say, very hard road ahead of you if you take that deal.
Well, I would say like this, right? Like Mila mentioned earlier, there is a such thing as learned behavior. And so just to kind of speak to your point, Truth, when you mention how someone can turn out and how you have society and stuff like that, there is a such thing as a process as that as well. Meaning you have the kid's ear until you don't have their ear. So I would say like this, right? There are situations where kids have lost respect for their parents, depending on what they did in terms of still having their ear when something needs to be said. And then there's those who never stray from the words of their parents. Do you think those two can exist?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can exist.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say never stray from the parent, but there's some kids who are more loyal to their parents' ideology. Yeah, I would agree with
Yes.
you on that.
Yes.
But I think this is more for boys than it is girls.
Uh-huh.
Girls, I think girls, they're more emotionally in tune with themselves. So I think it's wherever they feel. But I do agree that and I've seen some families, man. I see some families, not very many of them, but some families where they're pretty much all generationally do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there are those instances. So yeah, but at the end of the day, when your kid is born, all you can do is hope and cross your fingers that they kind of listen to you and take your advice and to get the outcome for their desired outcome.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Hey, Mila, can you hold it down for me? I got to mute up real quick, okay?
All right. It is a new person on the panel. Animal Child, you there?
Yeah.
All right. This your first time up here?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna explain the rules. No foul language. Follow TikTok guidelines. This is Fifth's panel. He just went on mute. Before you join the conversation, I would like for you to answer the prompt.
Okay.
What's more important in marriage, emotional availability or financial stability?
Yeah, I'll come from where I am today. In my mind, I think financial stability is definitely more important. Should I continue?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. I think that's the fact because we have been shunned because we look outside of us when we go to therapists or another personal acquaintance who can be emotionally available. So I think the whole part of partnership can go either way of love or convenience. We're both trying to live, and we're okay with just having each other around so that things can be a lot easier on each other. And if that's the case, if that's all we're here for, I think it's allowed for us to go out there and find somebody to be emotionally available for us, right? So and that shouldn't be an issue. So I think we definitely should have financial stability first, because we definitely have to. We live in a place where that's definitely important. I mean, drastically important. And we can also go. We can always go outside and find emotional availability. Like we can just. This can be a business deal. Probably in there.
Okay.
You
Um,
Ru- there you go.
I think I mean financial stability. I I'm a I do agree that that is something desirable, but the problem I've seen, and this is the problem I've seen with financial stability,
Mm.
because and when you pretty much lean on that, you then lose the focus of the mental acquisitions of your said person, right?
Mm.
The psychological will always beat physical. It outlasted.
Mhm.
So you can have all the money, give all the money, and if you're not psychologically connecting and in tune with your wife,
Mhm.
you lost the war.
Mhm.
So yes, financial stability is it's a it's desire, right? It's desire. Nobody wants to be stressed out about if their bills gonna get paid or they're gonna have food in their refrigerator.
Mhm.
But when you're married, because typically, let's be realistic. Most people who get married are at that point. Nobody is pretty much people don't get married if they're not in a good place financially. It just doesn't really happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have some instances, 1 in 1 billion, crazy couple go a shotgun marriage because they just crazy, right?
Mhm.
But typically, when people get married, the guys are where they're supposed to be, and the women to take that ring know that guy's where he's supposed to be. He's that dude, right? He proved that. That's what the premarital stuff is for, right? The dating, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, and then you show as the man. That's part of our interview, or that's what we're showing ourselves to be. And then she said, "Okay, would you marry me?" Yes. And men, we're smart. We understand. Okay, I'm ready. I can take the bills. I can make sure this, that. Boom. Let me get this ring. So yeah, so when it comes to financial stability, I don't think that it's a given. People who are married, that's a given. There are some things that happen where people lose things, yes. But once again, typically it's a given. So the problem we're having in 2026 is we're not the I guess the mental stability of the relationship is being lost. The mental fortitude.
Mhm.
I think that's where we're losing focus, because now it's not about a team sport anymore. Now it's all about individual accolades, trying to run a household, and I think that's where you get a lot of conflict.
And I'll say I'll piggyback off that, because this is the thing. We're not talking about mental, right? We're talking about emotional. And I think that is something that can be done independently, and having a connection to the higher source, right? So we can definitely realize that when we come together, right, we are definitely vetting, but we're not even married yet, right? We're already reading this person, you know what I mean? Whether they be a mess or clean and ready to, take out amongst the people or be in my life. So we figure that out beforehand. So, but when that's final, when that's figured out, now we go into how we gonna live, right? That's always going to be the thing that it falls back down on, because everything that we look for emotionally, or we ain't worry about mentally, we're about emotionally. We can find that through friends. We can find that through family. You know what I mean? We came together because we probably had some type of vibe, but it's always going to be the main priority, because we already figured out I don't need you to be emotionally available for me. That's for people that need that. You know what I'm saying? But when it boils all down to it, nobody wants to be on the street. We not smack
So
heads. We not smack heads. We not pot heads. We stable. You feel what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. I feel
Some
you.
people need that because they're
And
literally, out of it. But
what I'm saying, the mental
yeah.
triggers the emotional. See, emotions are triggered through the mental. For the mental comes through first, then you get to the emotions.
Mm.
Right? It's together. the process is stimulate the mind, right?
Mhm.
It can trigger emotional connection. So that's why I said the mental fortitude is the part, because that's the part that keeps that relates to the emotions that that person's there for you, that person loves you, you feel loved, etc. So yeah, but once again, I'm not all the way disagreeing with you as far
Yeah,
as
I know.
the financial, the stability. Us men, and that's what we're built to do, right? We part of our value as men is to create a safe space, a place of comfortability for the woman we love and the children that we want to be with her and are married to. Yeah, we want that. That is, I would say, 70% of our value, and the women understand that because they demand that, right? That's part of their expectation as well. But we
Yeah.
bring that value, and she then supposed to reciprocate from that, and then reciprocity in order is to show her appreciation. So it's a team thing, and I think that's what we're getting away from because women are being more independent mindset now,
Yeah.
and the men, we want to be interdependent with them, like we want more of a team. But the women like, no, I need my own accolades. I need to be seen. I need to be heard more because I am an independent, whatever. So I think that's where the divide is coming, and the conflict is boiling in the homes.
Yeah, I think, and the divide is also how we see things too, because I don't see a problem with them being independent because I'm independent myself, right? I think the power is in the fact that she can take care of herself and she don't need me for any of that, and that's fine. And she might need to be seen and heard, and as much do I, but I might not be as much as needy as her, but that's just what she needs, right? And I think also to repeat, the divide is the fact that we see things how we see things, and we're different people and we're not the same. But in that aspect, that's a very mature aspect of it all, because we have so many avenues that we don't need each other for everything. We can be everything to one another, but people can look outside for the other stuff like the emotional availability, the mental help, and all this. They really have stuff set up for that. And I think we like to be everything to each other because we care, right? And some people, not saying that they don't care, but they see things differently. You don't need me to be emotionally available unless you do need me. You want me to be that for you. And I understand that, but there's also this that you can go to. And I don't think we do that enough. Like, you don't have to come to me. Not saying that I ain't, because I can be, but if I can't be at this time, there's other places to go. Well,
Okay. Before we do anything else, Isabella, are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. Is this your first time on the panel?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. This is before you joined into the conversation. I'm gonna introduce you. I think she has a phone call. But the rules are no foul language, no cursing on the panel. Be respectful. This is fifth panel, and we need you to answer the prompt before you join into the conversation. And what's more important in marriage, emotional availability or financial stability?
I would say financial stability. The reason why I would say that is because when finances aren't in order, your emotions tend to not be in order. You tend to be stressed. Your mind tends to be somewhere else. You're overworked. You're exhausted. You start picking fights, different things of that nature. You just stress. And, it's a funny quote, but they say it's something they used to say back in the 50s. If a girl got to worry about money, how can she love her husband? She can't worry about love. It was a funny little quote, but it holds a lot of truth. I think we live in a time where we like for our ideals to become the reality, but the reality just isn't that. And I think we trying to change nature, something that's been this way since the beginning of time. And I think that we, I think, yeah, since the beginning of time, we're trying to make something that's not what it is. We're asking, I feel like men and women are asking each other to go against what they're actually saying that they want. I think both parties are bad listeners. You have men who are demanding one thing, but the woman is fighting him on it. And then you got women who are demanding one thing, and then men are fighting them on it and telling each other that they're wrong, when in fact it's just something that you don't want to do. And just because you don't want to do it doesn't mean that it's wrong or the other person is wrong. And then I think people, just to lay my plan, I don't know where y'all living at, but America don't support a lot of these ideals that we have. We're a hustle and bustle country. Your dreams can come true in the US if you're willing to work hard for it. We preach all of these things, the complete opposite in our culture, and then you wonder why we have the ideals that we have. Women, I be honest with you, I can agree with men when they talk about the off balance in women. However, our society, if we can't, being soft is always viewed as weak. We talk about it, we encourage it. It's just certain ideals that we have that just doesn't support it. And then no one is talking about the benefits. Its benefits as being a man that provides. Its benefits as being a woman who I use the word submissive. It's just benefits, but we always talk about duties. We never talk about the other side of it and the reason why. We got too many people who giving advice that shouldn't be giving advice.
I agree.
I agree, Isabella. I really do.
But I do think that, yeah, I agree with that too. I do agree that there are a lot of people that are giving advice that, because it's not one size fits all. Right? I agree that it's case by case.
Isn't it though? I mean, isn't
Yeah.
it really one size fits all? I mean, if you that 1 out of 8 billion who is completely different, then by all means. But it's a reason why we keep having these conversations. That's because we're not different. We're more similar than we are alike. I
Yes.
have cousins who travel 7 times a year. If they decide they don't want to work anymore, which some of them have, they don't work anymore. It's never going to affect them. They have reached that level of success. Yet they still want a man that's pretty much close to their success. So just because they was able to accomplish these certain things, the nature of them didn't change. I hear men all the time say, you know what, I want my woman opinion. I want to be able to communicate with her. I want her to tell me when I'm wrong. It sounds good. But but in the back of his head, he got to have that comfort that if he has to put his foot down, you're going to obey. As much as he value your opinion, men humor us when they say that. But deep down, they want to make sure that it's understood, a quiet understanding that what he says go. He just don't want it just sound bad when you say it that way, but nature don't change.
Yeah. I mean, it's in us. It's in us because what we saying is not for your bad. You know what I'm saying? And not y'all, but some women will look at it as we're trying to be controlling instead of hearing what we're saying and being able to comprehend that we mean it for all of our good. This is for all of our good. We're not worried about your personal desires or personal opinions. This is objectively good for us.
I'm calling
Right.
BS. I'm
No,
calling
because
BS.
it depends. It depends on the situation, right? If there's a situation where I find, because you might have a selfish point of view, you thinking about more gain, and I'm thinking about gain as well, but I'm thinking about it lasting, right? You might think it's good for a moment, but I'm looking for the long haul. But you worry about instant gratification. I'm worried about forever.
But
You
you
know?
only feel that way because you have, and I'm not saying you're a bad person. All men have it, but you deep down feel because you are a male that you know better.
No.
Deep down,
That's not what I. No, not deep down at all. Because I've done the work to realize that I'm looking at it from a selfless point of view. I don't even look at you as a woman and say, because you're a woman, I look at you as a person, because maturity, wisdom, and all that comes from the same place. And it's all the same, whether it's in a man or a woman. So if you tell me something right, I'm not going to look at you and say, you're a woman. No, I'm listening. Right. And if you're saying, and I'm already aligned with wisdom too. So if I know what you're saying is right
You
already.
have to be the one that decide if it's right. If it's something that you don't agree with, although it might be right, you're going to say it's wrong. The truth is, this is just a male nature, and I think once we start to understand female nature and male nature, instead of trying to change it in itself, that we'll be able to maneuver a little better. But all men,
No.
they
Nature
only
is the same. Nature is the same in everybody, right? If you look at me, if I'm at a point of view where I don't see what you see, then yes, I'm going to disagree, even if what you say is factual. Why? Because I'm not aligned with the same thing you're aligned with. You have wisdom that I don't yet have. So I don't see that clearly as you see it. So yes, I'll disagree, only not because I'm a man, but if that's the mentality that I have, that I've been trained up in, yes, I'll think like that. But if I'm looking at it from a standpoint that I just don't see what you're saying to be correct, definitely I'm going to disagree.
I get
But
what you're
why?
saying, baby.
But
I get it.
Because I just don't see it. I'm just not there yet. I'm not where you at. I'm not there yet. You know what I'm
never
saying?
mind. My question is irrelevant. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm one of those people. I'm telling you, everyone feel like they're special. Everyone feel like they have this Big Bang theory. When it's 10 million people who think like me, animal, lovely, and ruthless, and
Yeah. Yeah.
And the truth is, I'll be honest. I heard that same conversation every single time. And I've never met a man who didn't need it in the back of their mind. If I need to call rank, she will back down. I just never seen it in the workplace. I never seen it in a relationship. It's just part of human nature. And women, it's the only way we're gonna win is if we understand that nature. And if you take away a man authority that they need, you won't be able to control him because he'll fight you every time for it because it's a desperate need. It's embedded in us to
It's
have
sad.
certain needs.
It's sad. Because
No, it's not
no, because
sad.
listen,
Well, I
nature,
used
the thing about
to.
nature, is it's natural, right? And anything can happen. Anything is natural when nature does it, right? If it happens, it's natural, right? So if I come to you with the mentality, because remember, we're all trained, we're all brought up, like they say, and we walk in that so long that we don't have any other avenue to develop in. Like we've only developed that. So anything else outside of that is unknown and it's foreign, and we're going to fight against it because that's not where I'm from. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand that shit because I never stood under that shit. So that's all I'm going to bring to the table. But if I develop in other ways, I'm going to look at it differently. That's nature. We learn and then we do.
You gotta watch that language. You gotta watch that language.
I'm sorry. You're right.
It's all good. Go ahead.
So I just want to add in, right? I think it comes down to illusion versus reality.
Mm.
Sometimes an illusion can seem real, and it can be very harmful. But the reality is, that's what partnership is for, are to keep that illusion out of there and keep reality as a foundation of how we build our journey and how we build our home.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes down to, right? We have to, as human beings, differentiate an illusion versus reality. Because the illusion is, oh, I see things that I think are better. But if you don't have the information on that, to know where that road ends,
Right.
then it's best to just stick to the program.
Exactly. Exactly. Real
So
tough.
it's that's what it's all about, right? That's what it's all about. Sticking to the program that's been working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right.
And I think once if we could get to that level, which I doubt it. But if we could get to that level, then I think the gender war will literally disappear.
Hmm.
Self-awareness, though.
Yeah. Fifth, I don't know if you're still here,
I'm here.
but I have to get off. I don't know how long you're gonna be live, but I have to get off for a minute. I gotta submit my homework.
No problem.
Okay. It was nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you, lovely.
If you go back live later, Fifth, just send it to me. I'm not gonna
I
be
will.
there.
No
All
problem.
right.
I got you.
Okay.
So yeah, it is.
So
I think the fighting off influence and fighting all these. See, I think that's cancer to a marriage when an illusion takes preeminence over, and it overtakes the reality of what or how we got to where we got to. And I think that what kind of just drives it into the ground, because the reality is the person you married is pretty much the same person you married. They're not going too much change, right? So if you're looking for more when you don't need more, it then becomes corrupted and hostile.
Well, what you said will go against science and mankind then, because science teaches us that even when we look and use our eyes, we're not seeing the whole picture. It's just that our mind is putting the picture together so fast we don't realize it. I say that to say science says that everyone reality is just overlapping, but your reality, even if you with the same person, y'all agree on the same thing, your reality is still going to be different. And I think that's one of the issues where people have these conversations. I hear people say, but this is just a fact. Actually, it's an opinion. Unless it can be proven to be 100% or at least 50%, it's not a fact. So I say that to say that when you're in a relationship, you got to make room for this other person reality. Just now, common sense, yes. But science don't believe in common sense because sense isn't always so common. For us, you
That was a
know,
bar.
but it's the truth. For me, I don't understand why men want women to go 50-50. I don't understand why women want to go 50-50. To me, it's just common sense why you wouldn't do that. However,
So
you have a whole nother group who feel like it's just common sense to do that. So I have to make room for other people ideals because our realities are two different things. So what you said, it makes sense. It just is incorrect mathematically, scientifically, and just human nature. It just goes against humanity because that's just not how reality is processed.
and I
so
can
so one
oh,
one second. I need to address this.
all
So
right.
Isabella, you said you brought up 50-50, right?
Yes.
So then my question would be, what makes more sense? Paying 100% of your own bills being by yourself, or someone coming to your life and paying 50% of that?
So the thing is, if we do 50-50, in my mind, when I think about 50-50, I think about what's going to make sense. So let's take the conversation a little bigger because the truth is you just roommates. Y'all both live there and everything. Y'all just roommates. So let's take it a little bigger. For me, let's say I'm married to someone, right? And let's say he make a significant amount of money. And I'm not talking about 6 figures. Now, if you know anything about daycare right now, I don't have children, but I'm still aware of what's going on. Daycare, at an average daycare, where you just hoping your child be there, can run about $2,000 a month here in the state of Texas. So why would I go out and make average money? He go out and make average money just so we can pay this daycare bill. But if we took if we took that same 2,000 and I stayed home and we was able to keep that, why not do that? See what I'm saying? Sometimes we so busy trying to make sure that we're not doing more than the other person, which, by the way, these are people that we claim we love. And we try to do so less for them. But instead of us sitting up here trying to make daycare work and struggle, how about we take that 2,000 and we keep it in house and you just watch the child, because it's still 2,000 that's got to get paid regardless. Otherwise, it would be less pressure on both parties because they won't have to come up with that. Some things is just common sense to me. I don't have a problem working. United States doesn't support it right now for us to not work if we're gonna have certain accomplish certain things. However, sometimes it's just called making sense. There's no need for me to be like, okay, you got dinner last time, I got dinner this time. No, you pay for the dinner because it's going to be something that I do that you're not going to be doing either. Men will say all the time, oh, I'm going to help you, I'm going to take care of this. No, the hell you not. That ain't even reality. It just sound good. It's gonna be times that a person need more than I need more. Men are highly demanded. The men who always say they're so simple, I promise you, if you date them, which you guys don't date men, but as a woman, I have dated them. As sweet and as adorable as they are, men are high maintenance. There's going to be certain sacrifices that has to be made, especially if you're dealing with a man that wants to accomplish something. If you're dealing with a man who want to be in politics, if you're dealing with a man who want to be successful in some type of way, you're going to make all the sacrifices in the world. And so it's just certain minute. If we keep score, men are not going to win that battle, and you don't want to win that battle because it's not designed to win that battle. Our needs are different. So if you want to be 50-50, two issues on, but to me, it's about looking at the bigger picture. We are a team, one band, one sound. And
So
it's going to be times that he need more, and it's going to be times that I need more. I don't have time to keep score. I just don't.
Well, everything that you mentioned was because you mentioned kids, and every time the conversation comes up about 50-50, um, women always mention children. So, what about if there's no children? Do you have an answer for that?
Well, if it's no children, I still feel the same way. We're combined income. So there's no 50-50. We combine our income so we can be able to do more. Why would we sit up here and live and say, oh, you might as well be roommates? But if we combine our income, he's going to be able to have more freedom. I'm going to be able to have more freedom. It's called budgeting and living under your means and investing.
so I have
Is
a
the
question. I
goal.
have a question, Isabella. So when
I
you
don't
say
get it.
combined income, what does that mean?
What I said, combine the income.
But
So
you
that
but
means
you
my
add
money
context.
is his money is my money. We are one team,
So
one
that's
band, one
50-50.
sound.
That's
If
50-50.
you say so, if
That's
you say
50-50.
so.
It is,
Because see,
right?
a lot of people talk about 50-50 as if your money is your money and your money is your money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is his money is my money. My money is his money. Now, I've never met a man in real life who wanted that, but I'm saying if we're going to have the 50-50 conversation, his money is my money. So I got every right to his money just like he got every right to my money. So
That's
we put
50-50.
our money together. Okay. If you talk about it from that sense, then we both
Yeah.
agree to the same thing.
Yeah, he's taking
I
out
say 50-50.
some of his money
But
and
a
your
lot
money
of
to pay the
people,
bills.
but hold on, Ruthless, because I'm answering your question. A lot of people, when they talk about 50-50, they talk about it as being separate. They don't talk about it as being one. You got a lot of people who got a problem putting their whole check into the same bank account with another person. Let's be honest.
So right. I'm not disputing that, but so let me get to the bottom of this, right? Because I would agree with you. This is a highly debated matter, high intense conversations. I've seen it get pretty intense, but most men don't probably have no problem with paying 80%, right? 80-20, 70-30. But
Even 100%.
the only reason men are pushing 50-50 is because the women are putting out unrealistic expectations. So men are like, well, you know what? What do you bring to the table then? Right? and not necessarily they may really care about what you bring to the table, but they just want you to see that our requirement for you guys really doesn't have everything to do with your money, but has more to do with, the union of the family. And we have to try to shame you into sticking to just focus on the family. So 50-50 in 2026 is becoming more prevalent because men are starting to make women put more equity in the journey, right? You're going to put equity in this because you're not going to be trying to go and brag about your friends, talking about I'm a trick, all that. Yeah, I'm getting his money's my money, my money's my money. No, a lot of men are saying, I don't want to be looked at as being used as a financial tool.
Can we
So
talk about that though? Can we talk
no,
about that? Let's talk about that a little
yeah,
bit. Because most men ain't got no money. Let's be honest.
they got money.
A lot of men ain't got no money.
They got money.
I ain't talking about you. I'm talking in general. A lot of men ain't got no money or anything like that. Now, if I was gonna use my personal experience, I never had a man that wanted me to pay a bill. But I'm taking myself out of it. I'm talking about being in general. A lot of men ain't got no money. A lot of men got fears that they can't even afford. A lot of men talk about 50-50. It's honestly because you cannot afford to pay even 60% or so. A lot of women cannot afford to pay 50-50, if we being honest or whatever. And the problem with 50-50, if you is still expecting to be a leader or anything like that, I hate to be the one to tell you, but don't nobody want to listen to no broke nigga. I just hate to be the one that tell you. I don't know if y'all know that or not, but don't nobody want to
Yeah,
listen to
so let's chill on the N word too.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry. I'm
ahead.
sorry. But don't nobody want to listen to a loser. Don't nobody want to listen to somebody who ain't trying. The truth is 30,000 ain't gonna cut it no more. The truth is, it just doesn't work anymore. Our society, the least amount of rent right now is about 1,500. That means even if you try to add a dog, it's gonna break the bank. So yes, money do matter. Yes, people need money. It's never been more important than it is now. Now, maybe about 20 years ago, we could have this conversation. But how many of us own houses outright? You know what I mean? How many of us are ever going to own a house outright? How many of us can afford the taxes that comes with it? So I think that when we having these conversations, it sound good, but let's call a spade a spade. A lot of men are worried about income that they haven't even touched yet. And the truth is, a lot of men talk about men who make money, but they don't know what that's like because they don't make the money. Because I dated men who make a significant amount of money. And I'm not talking about millions or nothing like that. I've never dated that type of man before. However, men who make more than about 70,000 or something like that, and they don't be asking me to pay bills or whatever. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with it because I happen to know what's going on. But I'll be honest with you, I don't want my income to count as a whole in order for us to survive. I'd rather for us to live on our means because when I have a baby, I don't want to put that child in daycare. So, but just to land my plane, a lot of people ain't got no money. Let's just be honest.
So once again, when we talk about when we say those people got no money, the average American got a job. And the average American, I think the average income is 45 to 50.
Like
And if they
55, it's like 55,000 for men. For women, it's like 45 to 50,000.
okay, and that's money, right? It may not be elite money, but it's money. And especially if they're efficient. If they're efficient and got great credit and live within their means, it can go, it can make it. It can be, and probably most likely they got some other things going on, but that's money. But I think that the host made a great prompt. The host made a great prompt, right? Because if you look at this prompt, right, what's more important, emotional availability or financial stability? And since you come on here, which is fair, you obviously value financial stability at the top of your list, and that's fine. But here's the problem we're having in our society, as in general. Even women who get the guys who are financially elite, those dudes who are making six figures plus, millionaires, women are still complaining about them too. Oh, well, you're not emotionally available, or you're not there for me, or why you get all the attention, right? And then they leave these men, they divorce these men, right?
Actually, that's incorrect
No, I'm just
because
saying this, right? Right. So let me finish my
no,
point.
that's not
I'm
right.
just
That's
let me land my
incorrect.
plane. And then I see women leave dudes at the bottom of the pole, right? Women are divorcing at 80 some percent. So they're divorcing every level of man, no matter how much money he makes. Because a lot of times money does not sustain a relationship or a marriage. It doesn't. It takes a lot more. It takes, like my host said, the emotional availability, time, showing up as a person for that person, being there. So there's a lot of things, a lot of factors in trying to maintain a healthy, and let me be clear, a healthy relationship or marriage, because you have to be there and you got to show up. So money is really a very small percentage of success, because you can't buy love. You can't buy loyalty. You can't buy happiness. You can't. And so therefore, anybody who sets their sights on these financial goals are already without substance, because once again, people have things, they get everything, and they still are unhappy. And I landed there.
Actually, that's incorrect on some of the things you said because most highly what we call highly elite successful, 83% is still married. You can look that up. It's poor people who getting divorced. It's broke people like me, 50,000 a year. It's our income that's actually getting divorced when if you continue to read it or so. Also, I do think that let's talk about the 50,000. Now, no one's saying that people don't what their income isn't significant, but when you get done paying the bills, most people in the United States don't have good credit, and I don't know if you know about the new credit laws that passed a few years ago, but 650, 700 isn't considered good credit no more. In fact, even if you have 700, they still judge you based off of the previous years because of what happened during the COVID era. Long story short, most people don't have that. So let's bring it back to reality. After you pay your bills, after you take care of the children that you might have, if you have children, but after you pay your bills and different things of that nature, keep in mind 52,000 is only $1,000 a week. If you already have included taxes, if you already have taxes taken out and you left with 1,000, after you get through with car note and different things like that, you don't have this huge significant amount of money left or whatever. So when people talk about she just want me for my money and different things like that, I think a little humbleness got to calm down. Because the women who actually now you got stupid girls who out here trying to, do what they saw on Instagram. Then you got grown women who know how to target their target. Y'all not getting those women who know how to shoot their target or whatever. Y'all getting some helpers who don't know what they doing. So I do think that when men have these conversations, you got to also include who is my audience that I'm catering to. Because women who actually know what those ranks look like or have the opportunity to be part of those ranks, y'all not the ones that's being targeted. I just hate to be the one to tell you. And it's nothing wrong with that. Everything has a trade-off. No one should dedicate their life to you. Out of all the 8 billion people, no one should dedicate their life to you just because you a male or whatever. You got to have a trade-off, and there's no such thing as unconditional love. Even your parents love you because they had you. That's the condition. So for us to live in this false reality that money doesn't mean anything or you don't have to give something, it's just ridiculous. You have to pay the cost to be the boss.
No, I'm not. Nobody's disputing that.
So
But
I don't think that wasn't even close to being said. I
right.
think what Ruthless is touching on is that the men of today want some return on their investment. Now you mentioned 50,000 a year. Yeah, 50,000 a year by yourself. So men and women who understand this economy and stuff like that, both people work, right? Before she came into his life, he was paying all of his bills and taking care of himself. Same thing with her. So then they've come together and combined their resources. And now they got six figures. You know what I'm saying? And so if they're doing it right, then they could work together. They can invest in some things. There's some things they can share on, and they could go to a point where you know where they could get to a position where if they do it the right way and they put their money together, they can retire each other early. Her retiring first and him retiring second, obviously because he's the man. But a lot of people have never been in that dynamic or even dream for that dynamic in terms of marriage because they're still thinking about themselves as being individuals.
What are they not getting back on return?
What reciprocity. So,
Like,
a lot of men, a lot of women are not, they're underperforming in the daily duties towards the man. So, as far as romantic, far as being a person of, value, as far as when he comes home, can I lean on you and tell you things? There's a lot of women are underperforming in those categories. And also they're leaving them. They're divorcing them and they're walking
so
away.
why? So why? Oh, okay. Because we just talked about it. Now she combining her income with your income. That means you're not providing. That means that y'all have combined income. So her income, you count on her income, she count on your income. So y'all are providing for each other. Now, what is she's getting out of return if she do all of that, which I agree with you or whatever, but what is she getting out of return on her investment? You?
So first of all, combined income is rare in 2026.
How
It's
do you know
mostly
that?
most women are not putting their money in a man's account. That's not happening. Um, so they're
So
keeping
no,
their
but let's
money.
talk about the situation that we just said. If
So yo, I'm
she
just what I
does
was
that,
well, I'm
if
well,
she
I'm
do
just clear,
that,
well, I'm just clarifying, right? So
okay.
to get to the point of why are men not getting men from the time they date a woman, from day one, when they go on a date, the man is already putting up an investment in this woman with his money, his time, and whatever else, right?
What about her
And
time
so by
and
the
her
time,
money?
so by the time we get married, right? The return the man wants is a woman who's stable, who's nurturing to the children he wants to raise with her, the nuclear family, the, just the small. I mean, you ain't necessarily got to cook and clean them because they got, there's a lot of different things you can do now, right? With a different, so those things that emotional, I wouldn't say emotional support, but more that support, right? How was your day at work, baby? How was, oh yeah, oh, is that right? Listen and not make it all about you. Because once you make it about I think a lot of women rob that man's moment, right? They hijack the moment that he needs to vent to her and her to be there to lay his troubles on. And then a lot of times women make it about them and hijack his moment of clarity. And and it becomes and that's where men are losing. They're losing, they're not getting
But why
women are
should
not
he get that if he's not providing his
well
part
he
of the
well
deal?
obviously if he's most men pay the mortgage. Let's keep it real.
No, but hold
98
on, let's
let me
but the
say this, let me
Yeah.
say
mortgage,
this.
that's
About
that's not
98,
even
98% of men pay the mortgage. That's number one. Let's get
how
that
do
out
you
the
know
way.
that?
Then on top of he takes care of the maintenance of the area as far as all the heavy lifting. So I'm saying
I can't build no house.
most
I ain't doing nothing like
well I'm
that.
saying though, it's still got to be maintained or you get kicked out. So what I'm saying is men are only paying the seven most I say typical ratio is 70-30. I think that's across the board. So therefore, all he's asking back from that woman is for her to be pleasurable and a good listener, um, cater to him in a little way to make him, maybe twerk on him, tell him he's handsome and I missed you, kiss on him. Yeah, and I think men in that format, right there, they are what would take that every time. And that's a return on their investment. To see the smile on their face when he gets home, and you also not be complaining and doing things to make him upset, right?
So
All those things are valuable.
again, where are you getting at 70-30? Who pays the mortgage more? Because I don't know what I be reading. I guess the US.gov statistics be wrong because I cannot afford to not know these statistics, is what I'm saying. Because of the field I'm in, I have to know these statistics. So that's the reason why I'm actually questioning what she's saying. Where you got that from, baby?
I believe men pay the mortgage and
So you don't have a credible
the
source
insurance,
that
and I'm just saying,
opinion.
women will have confessed. Most women don't pay mortgages. They don't, and mortgage is the biggest bill and the most important bill of all the bills, and that to me is equivalent to at least a high 40 to 50% of everything that for this house to run, and then it breaks down, right? And I believe a lot of men pay for the insurance, the big insurance bills, and those things. Then women, they take care of the little stuff. That's typically how marriages go.
Again, so the only thing that I'm not saying you're wrong, but it is an opinion base. Because if we cannot prove it, then that means it's not a fact. And the thing is,
So then what's the numbers? Because this is gonna go in circles. What's the
oh
numbers then?
no, it's not gonna go in circles. In fact, I'm not even gonna disagree with him or anything like that. I just happen to know that that's just not what it is. Actually, what end up happening is that most black men, the average white T man gonna cap out at 60K. Most black men is gonna cap out around 50, 52, 53, something like that. Most women is going to cap out around 45K to 50K. The average woman may, after taxes, 945. So the average individual isn't bringing home $1,000 a week because you got to calculate for taxes. So with that being said, if he's paying the mortgage, that means that it's going to take at least 2 of your checks to pay the mortgage. And then that means she's paying the light, the water, everything else, the food, different things like that, different insurance, all of that. So the only point is that I'm making is that I do think that we're asking for something that we're trying to get for less. You got women who are asking men for stuff without giving up, trying to give less, and you got certain men that are asking for a lot that's trying to give less. You want that nuclear family? You forgot one key component. He paid all the bills. Now, I don't think it's wrong to want what you desire, but I do think when we having these conversations, we got to be fair. If I'm working if I'm working and different things like that, and then I gotta come home, get dinner taken care of, house taken care of, kids in order. Let's take kids out of it. Let's say I just come home and different things, and I've been on my feet all day. Well, yeah, I may not feel like twerking. I may not. The truth is, money is, I think, number 3 leading reason for couples breaking up. So that mean it ain't all 50-50. That mean it ain't all splitting down the middle and everybody making sense. Somebody being a jackass in there, and it's probably the woman and the man, or probably just the woman. I won't argue with you, but men ain't this holy grail where they're just doing everything right. I'm not saying that there's not good men, because in my real life experience, I don't experience this, thank the Lord. However, if I look at it from my outside perspective, yeah, it's a little BS on some of this stuff. You know what I mean? And I think we're just not being fair on some of these conversations. And that's the reason why your consumer isn't buying your product. Meaning women are finding you on your ideals the same way that men are finding women ridiculous ideals as well. The consumer isn't buying it.
Well, I once again, I never said nobody's perfect. I was just breaking down the finances. But of course, right? Who's that delusional to think nobody's going to come with? No, I mean, everybody's coming with some baggage of some sort. So yeah, part of a relationship, especially a marriage, that's what you take the wedding vows for, right? You sign up to deal with those imperfections.
No, you need to have those conversations before you get to the altar.
I'm gonna be a little quick. I ain't be too long. When you get married and you take the wedding vows clearly give you kind of a fair warning before you go into this marriage, right? You look at it says, "Till death do us part," for good, richer or poorer, right? All those things, good times, bad times, right? It addresses all that. So if you have any cold feet, and run away, right? So I'm not disputing that men, we're angels and we just don't do nothing wrong. That's not even the conversation. But everybody, when we get married, we sign up to deal with that. Okay, this is my person, and my love is going to conquer their inefficiencies. And I think I think it's a great prompt. It's one of the best prompts I've seen when it addresses what's more important. What's more important, and I think to the way Isabella, I hear it is a lot of people are losing the mindset of what's more important. Because once you start placing things on financial, you got to be my leader, you got to be financially this, and you base everything on those things, that is typically things without substance.
Facts.
When has it not been
And
that way?
and I'm just saying this, right? The relationship is
But
not
when
built
has
on.
it, since the
What,
beginning of time, when
but
has
I'm
it
just saying,
not been
but
that
what
way?
I'm saying is this: all I'm saying is a great relationship for it to last, it's going to have a level of understanding that we're here for each other, regardless of the money. Even though the money is a tool, I'm not saying that we're throwing it all away, but we're here for each other because we really want to be with each other and we're ready to go to the fire for each other. And that is how you build with substance. Not, oh, well, you just make this much money and I just do this and you split this. That's not gonna last.
But no, well, that's the problem that I have with these conversations. I happen to be someone that know a little bit about history and different cultures. When has it not been that way? Oh, I don't know if you guys read the Washington Post, but one of the things that the Republican Party released is part of the reason why they're cutting so many benefits is because they're saying that it's too many women in the workforce, so it take away from the man to be able to provide fully. That's how come they're taking away a lot of the resources or so, such as childcare, and it's harder to get benefits and different things of that nature. Because it's never been this way where men can provide certain necessities like a home, a car, certain things. And this is not just the black race, this is across the board. It's never been a time where men couldn't do it until now. So when you say that it wouldn't sustain, it's always have sustained since the beginning of time. Everyone has always had their role to play into society. Men used to couldn't get married, or they had to choose from the bottom of the barrel if they didn't have a significant, a certain amount of money. They wouldn't even consider high in class. High class in society. So when you say that it wouldn't work, it's been standing from the beginning of time. It's just that the new introduction of us not talking about certain things and love will conquer all. Babe, that came from a Marilyn Monroe commercial when they were first experiencing with advertisement. If you just go back and watch, it's a really, really good story. When you go back and look at how advertisement came today, it's actually really interesting. Anyway, that's a side note, but it's never not been this way. And they even say that arranged marriages are more successful than people of the free that have free will, because when they have those discussions, they are talking about money. They are saying, "Hey, what do this look like in this marriage? This is what you do. This is what I do. We know what we're doing." Y'all just getting married. Y'all ain't even having a conversation, and we're gonna just be home. You got idiots on this app who said, "I'd rather be homeless in love than have financial stability." How you gonna claim you love me and you don't even want to make sure I eat every day? How
Yeah,
can
but
I love you and I don't want to make sure you eat every day? I
yeah,
can't even
but the
fix your plate.
yeah, but the context is always getting left out. So here's the thing. So from the beginning of time, right? But we're not at that time right now. I don't think women want to work. Women been working. Women want to work. And one of the things that by design was you know, and I'm not even hating this, but it is what it is. Uh, the women are working. So then what happens is the powers that be that own buildings, property, rent, all the other things, right, that people need to live, right? Real estate, whatever it is, right? They was like, okay, well, we got the man's money and we got the woman's money. So now this house this 2,000 square feet house that used to be 50,000, we're now gonna make that 100,000. So then now that leads the demand for more money. Okay, now we need more money because the cost of living is going up. And you live in this country just like the rest of us do. When things get more expensive, you need what? More money. And a lot of these corporation jobs, whatever it is, whether it be private sector or government, people need more resources. So if people can't get more resources, then people just get more people to afford the things that cost so much. So then now you have more group living than you ever have.
So let's go back in time. The government forced women to the workforce when men went to war. Let's fast forward. Women had to go into the workforce because, let's be honest, some men, not all men, this wasn't the case for everybody, but some men would be like, I'm gonna knock you upside your head. So she decides she wants to get her money. That's not the case for everybody. But women are shown, study shows that women have never been more unhappy than they are now, and they have the most freedom. Now, everything that she said was 100% true. That's how come it's being encouraged, because we saw it during the COVID era, which was called the Great Resignation era. We saw how successful it was when we didn't have women in the workplace. So it's now being encouraged. If you just go and look or whatever, it is now being encouraged that women do not participate in the workforce. Now, when you look at the projections, it's going to be men and Black women who are projected to keep up the workforce in the future. By the time that, side note, homeless is going to be illegal. Side note, that's a side note. We'll talk about that later. But all the other races of women are going to be at home with their husbands. So it's just going to be us with the men keeping up the workforce. Now, keep in mind, society have already showed us what that looked like and the problems that comes with it. And the reason why is because we are not married and our men don't want to do what a lot of other men do. And sometimes it's even fair to say they don't even have the opportunity, because racism still does exist when it comes to the financial wealth gap, which, side note, is a great documentary on Netflix where they talk about the projections in the wealth gap between Black and other races in the United States.
All right, Fat Waffles, you there?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? So my prompt today is, what's more important in marriage, emotional availability or financial stability? What do you think?
Emotional availability.
You could expound more.
Okay, sorry. I just feel that way because when it comes down to it, it's great, it's dandy to be financially stable, but finances come and go. Money comes and goes. Money's here, money's there, it's everywhere. But emotions, being human, being kind, being genuine, being nice, that's not always available. You got people who will portray it for a couple weeks and then take that mask off as soon as they get what they want from you. So it doesn't matter the amount of money he or she comes with. It's about the emotion that they feel for you. That's all I
What's
wanted.
up. That's what's up.
You said that too. You said if you ask 50 people, all of them have different answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, from what I know, Fat Waffles is married, so I definitely understand her perspective.
You said she's married?
Yeah, I know her. She's been on the panel a couple of times. She's a married woman.
I wish she didn't leave, because I would have loved to have asked her, because I'm not married, so who am I to question? But my only question would have been, when it comes time, do she have children or anything like that? Do they have life insurance? Do they have medical insurance or anything like that? I just don't understand those answers. Uh, unless you're really stable. Like I said that BS before too, until I started being more knowledgeable. And thank God I'm in the situation that I'm in. But you know, I with a little maturity, I realized, oh, we kind of need to have our stuff together.
But
You
Isabella,
know,
I do agree with you. I do agree with you in large that the phase you're in will be the woman who isn't married, right? And most women who are not married do prioritize business. They look at their partner or their guy that they're picking for the process from a business proposition. So I do agree with you in that part, that that's a very important part to them more than everything else. And I think the women who are married, who've been married a long time, understand that they need that emotional wherewithal. They need that to be whole, right? Money just ain't gonna just do it.
well, that's because they're stable. I had when I lived in Colorado, I learned a lot of my ideas from other races. And one of the things that they said is certain things that I shouldn't have to worry about. Why would I date a man who don't have even the basis? So I can't afford that luxury to worry about love only because I'm not dating. I'm not gonna fall in love with someone who don't have nothing together. So I do think that you're right, and I do think that's something Black women need to take more in practice. You wouldn't have to worry about money if your standards was to date a certain quality of men. Now, for me personally, the knowledge that I know about the financial situation, stock market and stuff, actually is one of my go-to when it comes to men because they find me impressive. That's a side note. However, I do think that women do have unrealistic expectations because you have a lot of women who would say they want a man with a money, but they never dated those men. They don't even know where those men are at and can't even hold a conversation. So I do think that you have women who out here wishful hoping, and then you do have women who have the luxury of not even the luxury, they just deal with certain quality of men. Like I say, I don't hear this in real life, but I do find it mind blowing.
Well, in real life, people date basically within their proximity, right? So most of the time, men and women are going to more than likely and be in the dating fields of similar, social status at times, or not. I know for men don't typically care about um, how much money a woman makes in the same manner that a woman would care about what he makes. So there are plenty of men out here who can earn, they could be average men, right? Average salary or above average salary, but still under 100K a year, right? They could date a woman who makes significantly less money than them as long as they have the intangibles, the things you can't put a price on. A woman's, um, you know, respect, her kindness, uh, integrity, being honorable, caring, being sharing, and those things. And so, if she has the same as him, cool. But that's not his determining factor, more so, as opposed to maybe a woman would, and not all women, because I don't believe in absolutes. But most of the time, women are saying, "Look, I need a man to at least earn what I'm making, or at least close to it, or have more." They don't even want to hear about his intangibles at that point. If he ain't got the salary that they're asking for, him being a good, kind, respectful dude, they don't even want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
As soon as
100%.
as soon as they want to hear it, when they hear it, only when they find out, okay, what does he do for a living? Okay, all right, now tell me about what he's about. So it's like, it's
Well,
it's backwards.
no, the needs are different.
Of
And
course, because we're
so,
different.
so exactly. So why would you expect me to need the same thing that you need? The truth is, you're 100% right. Everything you just said. But that's because we're different. Men, in fact, sometimes I make more money than the man that I'm dating. The truth is, what a lot of women don't know, when you date, let's say you dating a doctor, whoo child. Let's say you dating a doctor and they make a certain amount of money. A lot of women don't know those men are in debt. Or whatever. A lot of men, a lot of people, men and women who make a significant amount of money do not know how to manage that money. Because just because you make the money don't mean you know how to keep the money. Long story short, is all I'm saying is that the reason why it matters with women is because the need is different. The reason why it doesn't matter with men is because his needs is different. I don't care how I don't care how much money she make or anything like that. If she's not willing to provide those type of needs, they're not gonna last. I don't care how much money, how great of a guy he is. No one wants a loser. Meaning, no one wants someone who's not doing anything or don't have anything. Now, the average guy, hey, if he making 52,000, 60 some thousand, well, in this economy, that's pretty damn good. However, when you get down to it, the original statement that I made was he don't have no money. Meaning, when you get down to after he pay everything, don't let him have a child or whatever. That money where women just want me for my money, what money? The last $200? What money is the whole point?
So I think women have take it to the next level that a lot of women are not even. So I do think this is a situational type of situation, right?
Yep.
Women who are married, this is why the divorce rate is so high, because a lot of women are basing a lot of their criteria on finances, a level of finances. And once they get married, they see that it's not good enough. So, but women are taken to the next level. Is not only do they want a man with money, but they want a man that's money going to spend on them. if he's too frugal and he's like, oh, and he can have a lot of money, he can have $1 million in the bank account, but he won't take you to Denny's, and he want to, hey, can you get, women, they're totally against those guys. So that's why a lot of women go for the scammers and stuff like that, because at least them guys spend it. But this is what's bad for women, and this is what's going to make it they're not going to be able to sustain any sort of stability in a relationship because they're making finances at the top of their list. It's going to make, it's just no way they're going to be able to, because as soon as they have that type of mindset, oh, I'm looking for a guy who has stable and all this, are you willing to do what it takes to keep that man? Are you going to bring to the table enough for him to keep you? Are you going to tell him up front that you got all this baggage? That you got these anger management issues, abandonment issues, this issue, that issue. So is his money worth your baggage? That's the question you guys are going to have to ask yourselves.
Let's talk about that though. Because let's talk about the frugal mindset. As someone, okay, because the goal isn't to, okay, it's a difference in mindsets when it comes to having some money. A man who earned his money tend to have a smart mindset, not frugal. A man who probably got a lawsuit or something like that fear his money isn't really good at managing his money, because you got to think about the time. That's the trade-off. My dad is a fantastic man, but he's a good example. My dad, bless his heart, wonderful man. But if you told him, hey, the best gonna cost $1,000, your worst experience is gonna cost $500, he gonna take the $500. Now keep in mind, the best experience, the best is considered $1,000. So you will trade off your self-worth, your best, and make the best decision, the smart decision, so you can have the worst experience, but at a cheaper rate, not realizing you're still paying for a bad experience. So sometimes being frugal, we like to say it's smart, but I find that you giving a trade-off. What's the point of keeping it if you're not going to invest it wisely so you could get money back on, get a return on your investment and live off of that and live the quality of life that you choose? And then again, the audacity. How dare she want stability? No, but stability doesn't mean rich. Stability means stable. Kind of like when the doctor say we're just going to keep her stable, meaning you're not doing well, you're not doing the worst, but you're not 100% good. So how dare she want stable? How dare she want to eat every day? Water, medical insurance. How dare she want to have a house? How dare she? That's ridiculous. How dare she want her children to go to a decent daycare? How dare she want to be able to buy clothes or different things like that? How dare she? Would you want that for your daughter? So if a man can't even provide the basics, the last thing he need to be doing is on social media or dating. You need to be at somebody's job if you cannot provide the basics.
Well,
I think about
aren't the basics the necessities that you need in terms of like a roof over your head, food on the table, and those things? Like that
Yeah.
that would be the base. Okay, so the complaint is not, and this is why I think things get conflated. The complaint is not women asking for men who are able to take care of the basic necessities. The complaint is after he done took care of the basic necessities that now he can't take her to Roof Chris every week. Now he can't take her to the Maldives every month, which there's provision and then there's abundance. Abundance is on top of provision.
Fair. Now that do make sense. And Ruth Chris, unless you go to the one in Atlanta, it's kind of overrated. Side note, but I do think that's fair. A lot of women are asking for things that, and that's how come it's so important to know about what's going on in the economy or whatever. A lot of women are asking for things that one, they don't even meet the right man who can provide those type of lifestyles, and they don't. Rich men aren't bad men. All men require the same thing. A little difference based on the income, but a lot of women don't even have good communication skills to sustain a relationship. So no, I can agree with that. Unrealistic expectations. They don't even know their audience.
I think also unrealistic expectations toward the women is that they're gonna meet a man of means when that's not even all a percentage of men. Most men and women are average. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I think people hear the words average and think bad and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Most people are going to work every day, coming home. They're paying bills, whatever it is, coming home, maybe have fun every once in a while. That's most people. I think what we have to understand is that if we're going to do this together, emphasis on together, then we're going to come together. We're going to have a plan. We're going to strategize. We're going to see what best works and fits. And it's not that you have to choose between necessarily having emotional availability or financial stability. They're both on the list. It's just that where is it on your top three? You see what I'm saying? And it goes like this. You can like two things, but like one more than the other, right? Like I mentioned earlier, there are people who like tacos and cheeseburgers, but they like tacos more than cheeseburgers. That doesn't mean they like cheeseburgers. They just like tacos more, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I can agree with that. I can see that.
And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something from a man's perspective, right? Regardless of what money he makes, and that is this: if I lose the money, do I lose you?
Absolutely. Depending on how you lost it. I am not going to be with someone. This is the thing. How you lose it depends on if we make it. Because I need to know. I can't be married to a fool. But yes, that's gonna sound bad. Now, if you lost it on accident, the business didn't go right or something like that. But if I find out, and it also, hey, maybe gambling is a disease. Maybe you got addicted to pain medicine. That's different. That's a mental health condition. But if I find out that you sit up here, you got me working, and then you had the nerve to go out and cheat, not have an affair, because affairs is for rich people. You out here cheating, and I find out that we can't go on vacation because you supplying your H. We're done.
So
You said,
and I
wait,
think.
hold on,
Oh,
real
go
quick,
ahead. Go
Ruthless.
ahead.
Let's not miss this. You said affairs are for rich people. What do you mean when you say that?
So an affair is completely different than, now keep in mind, it's still stepping outside of your marriage or whatever, or your relationship. Still wrong. But an affair and some healthy you just screwing is two different things. And it's just the level of class. You know, you don't, how can we say you had an affair and the only thing is you just screwed the girl who was screwing everybody outside of work. You know what I mean? But now when you have an affair, you basically, a mistress and a sideline H is two different things. A mistress is almost a second wife. An affair is almost a second marriage. But when you just got some girl across town and y'all just screwing, you drop a few dollars off over there, y'all might laugh at each other stuff on social media or whatever and complain about y'all mates with each other. Those are two different things. You have no intention. It's just certain things that goes into it. That's just my opinion or whatever. But an affair and cheating, it's just different. It's just different. That's how the words is certain things that's more appropriate for the words or whatever. But that's just my opinion. That's not something I read. That's just my ideal.
Well, it's both infidelity, but the thing is that if this is where we're going, then it kind of speaks to this stereotype that I think women should do a better job of kind of breaking. And that is a lot of women, not all, but I've had women come on this panel and they said that they would forgive infidelity with the man who got the money versus the man who don't got all the money. What do you say to that?
100%. Because how the HE double hockey sticks, you gonna have time to cheat, but you ain't got time to but you could be at another job and we could be over here taking care of business. We behind on bills, but you got time to cheat. We sit up here, we gotta manage money, and Takesha can't get a tutor because we gotta put money elsewhere, and we're trying to save. But you got time to cheat. You got time to take your side chick out to McDonald's or no, because side chicks expensive these days. To Ruth Chris, but then I had to make a sacrifice for the sake of the family on our anniversary. So we could go ahead on and get ahead on a few things. You didn't ask me to, but I know we're having some financial struggles. So how dare you cheat and you cannot afford to cheat? And then let's say he didn't gave her no money. So you threw our whole marriage away just for some slut who's sitting up here screwing everybody. So DAM me and my children, what I'm doing in our home, I'm at work and then I gotta come home and twerk on you to keep you happy, but you got time to have someone else too. How you gonna manage time management? You can't manage time management with two jobs and still have a lifestyle. You got time to lie to me and do all of that, but you can't. You ain't got time to go get a few hours at another job, a little OT overtime. So yes, it's two different things.
Ruthless, go ahead. I think you heard what you needed to hear. Ruthless.
Yeah. So let's talk about this right. Since the conversation of moving to cheating and affairs, right? That has nothing to do with emotional availability or financial stability, but everything to do with boundaries, expectations, and standards.
Facts.
And then, so this is why these relationships get lost in translation, right? because women think, and men think, but men, I would give grace to the men because most men are paying a lot more money. So I give them, they want to access another woman. Okay. But women, they think they can charge all this money and take everything from this dude. And then on top of that, say, you can only be with me for the rest of your life. Even though I'm not going to be able to provide to you the things consistently that I'm going to promise you that I'm going to provide you. So if I catch you doing these things, which is my boundary, now you're making I would say we make this whole thing about, I say when you make everything about boundaries and these standards that you put on each other, and particularly the women about the cheating part, I think we're thinking unrealistic, right? That, if I get in a relationship with this guy or marry this guy, can he be perfect? Can he never do nothing wrong? That I think, oh, maybe he can. Am I really ready to deal with this? So I shouldn't take this ring. I should not take this relationship knowing that I can't forgive. I'm petty. I'm going to bring it up every time I get a chance. Anything you do wrong, I'm going to talk back to you. I'm going to disrespect you because I just want to. And after I do all these things to you, if you cheat, I'm leaving you. So the bottom line is, we're just going to have, women are just going to have to start learning to one or two things: live alone, live a dog, or they're going to have to start sharing men and become polygamous, because there's just no way you guys are going to get these guys with all this money and all this stability, and he's just going to be acquiescent to your every demand. That is ludicrous.
So hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. Let me make sure I get this straight. Hold on, hear me out though, because this is ridiculous. Let me make sure I get this straight. So, first of all, her saying, hold on, hear me out. Let's say that, first of all, I don't know if y'all know anybody who got a little money or whatever, but the reason why women get the money is because it's a trade-off. 9 times out of 10, she doesn't have, she got a mortgage. The reason why she got the house, because she got the mortgage. So for her to maintain or whatever, different things of that nature, it has to be a trade-off or whatever. Because she probably was staying at home. She probably did have his children. She probably did make certain sacrifices. Just because some men don't know what it's like to be a man that have reached a certain level of his success, he wouldn't know the sacrifices that these women make. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's just not your time. But women get that money because it is a lot of trade-off, and that man gonna make that money back. But it is a certain thing called prenup. And a lot of prenups have an infidelity clause in it. And that's the reason why they end up with that money, because somebody had an affair. So that means they knew what not to do before they did it. Now, let's bring it back down to reality.
Also, most marriages don't have prenups. I just want to make that clear.
So, well, he brought up rich men, so I had to tackle that because he brought up men who make certain money. Now, let's bring this back down to reality or whatever. Honestly, I don't believe most men cheat. I'll be honest with you. Because this guy told me one time, he said it was hard getting you. Now that I got you, you think I just got access to 100 different women now? It's hard as hell getting a female or whatever sometimes. Or the one that you want. So I honestly don't think a lot of men cheat. But it's the audacity that that certain level of men have when they talk about because he make a certain amount of money, he should be able to have X, Y, and Z. And he's gonna, do you think he really gonna do it for you? Yeah, because if you ever get a chance to get around these men, they're looking for something that you're not able to look for because you cannot afford that luxury. They're not looking for income. They're looking for everything else that what a woman brings to the table. And that's not that common, especially in certain circles. So a man being faithful, I mean, it's just something, if you cannot afford it, then why would you do it? Why would you go out? Men claim to be logical all the time. Why would you go out and risk your situation and not handle your business, risk getting someone pregnant, risk your family, paying child support and all these things? Why would you make that decision anyway? You see what I'm saying? It's just stupid. But we got to stop talking about rich men when we're not dating them, when we don't know them, or we're not rich ourselves. Because a lot of that information be incorrect. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but we, like the host said, we don't like to talk about things in absolute, especially if we don't even know these people.
Yeah, and and Ruthless, you've been on the stream since it started, and you definitely been paying attention to pretty much everything that was said. Our conversation was not about rich people at all.
Right.
So what we were basically saying that is that if you when it comes to trade-offs, if women want a man to have a certain thing or work or to have a certain thing on the table, it's going to take a lot of work, and if that means he's going to work more, he's going to be out the house more, depending on what he is, because some people could do it from home. God bless them, but most of the money that men got to make is going to be out in the field, right? So that's what most people got to do to earn their living. If they're going to make more, it's going to require more of their time, being that you're sacrificing the quality time that you could have with that man, because he has to, what the average work week is 40 hours a week. But if what you want him to do and what you're requiring financially, it may require him to work 70, 80, maybe 90 hours a week, which is unhealthy, but it is what it is, right? So then now when you want his time, you have his time less, and then it's, oh, well, he's not emotionally available. That's because he's not physically available. So you can't be emotionally available in the capacity that is needed if they're not physically available, unless you're trying to have a long distance relationship. And I don't know, that usually doesn't last pretty well. You know what I'm saying? So then it's, okay, well, I want him to be a little more emotionally available. Okay, well, then the chances are he's not going to have the income that you may be requiring that he has. Okay, so it comes down to like the balance. So if you want the balance of both financial stability and emotional availability, then what did I say? If you want more time, you sacrifice money. If you want more money, you sacrifice time, right?
I can agree with that. That don't have nothing
Right.
to
So
do with cheating.
yeah, I think it all boils down to what 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 the woman and the men are both desiring. But then I also stated this as something that could happen. I'm gonna go back to the together thing, and then I'm gonna have to end the stream, okay? Because I gotta go to work. So the together thing. If two average people, because most people are average, right? Just because you make 50,000 doesn't mean you're gonna stay at 50,000. We all know that logically, it's age dependent. By the time you're 50, you start a job, let's see, in your 20s and 30s, and you started that job at 40,000 a year. By the time you're in your 40s and 50s, the income is going to grow. So you're not going to still make 50,000 a year. You're going to be above average, but you may still be under 100K. Fine. But you climbed on your job. So if two people are doing this the right way, whether you want, y'all there?
Yeah.
My bad, I ain't got the phone call. Okay.
Okay.
Whether you're going to do this 50-50, 60-40, 80-20, 70-30, regardless of how you do it, if you do it together, you can build up some savings so that y'all can retire early. If you do it the right way and you started at a young enough time, some of us, I don't know, some of us is too late. But for those who still have time, then
You could retire each other at 45, 50 years old. You don't have to. Everybody don't have to work until they're 70 if they do it the right way
Oh,
together.
it's gonna
And
take
then
that.
right, and when you retire, and that's the trade-off. The trade-off is we may not be able to do everything that we want now, but let's get this situated now so that when we get to our retirement age, early retirement age, we can do whatever we
We
want.
want, and that takes patience and virtue.
And
Absolutely. Discipline. Absolutely.
discipline. Penis discipline as well.
Well, I mean, we wasn't even going to that intellectually, but what I'm saying is it definitely takes discipline within the marriage in terms of how you're treating each other. Because at some point, y'all gonna be yelling at each other. Okay? There's gonna be arguments. There's gonna be, oh, this is taking longer than usual. Oh, how long do we have to do this? But there is a goal at the end of the road.
And the main thing is to stay away from your friends. Don't pay no attention to them. Don't let other people influence you in thinking you can deserve better, because then they're the ones that going to get you in a lot of trouble. Because then they get you seeing these ghosts, and now I want more. When you guys are just fine, saving up enough money, head to a good retirement. Because a lot of people got to work till they 70, 75,
Exactly.
80, because they want to do it early, trying to please everybody else. So I do agree with the host. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of patience, but it also takes a lot of blocking out the world, blocking out haters, blocking out people who trying to tell you how to run your relationship, and they don't even got one.
Mm, mm.
That's the one. Everybody giving advice and they ain't even got they can't even get a date. Most people can't even get a date, if we being honest.
Because it could be many factors. It could be how you present yourself. It could be that you're someone who's not pleasant to be around. I think a lot of people who are attractive, and I'm gonna just say this, there are a lot of people out here who are attractive, right? On the men and the women's side. Pause when I say the men part. But what it is that on the inside, they're not pleasant to be around. They got a lot of attitude. They got a lot of entitlement issues. They got a lot of things going on with themselves. A lot of people need to check themselves. They may have success in other areas of their life except for that part. If you're somebody who's not going to be pleasant to be around, then you definitely going to be paying 100% of your own bills. And hey, if that's what you want, that's your prerogative. Cool. And just know that when you get older, this is when this stuff really matters. When now your knees give out. You done got out of bed, now your knee hurt, now you need somebody to help you to the bathroom. See, when you're young and you get the flex on people, you think it's cute. But then when now you're up in your age, your body start breaking down, and all you got is you and your wallet, but ain't nobody helping you, ain't nobody looking out for you, ain't nobody coming to see you. That's not a flex.
Facts.
All right. Anybody have any final thoughts? Because I got to end it. And then I don't typically go live on Thursday nights because I'll be working, but I am getting off earlier today. So I will go live again 9 p.m. Eastern time, 8 Central. Okay, for today. But I go live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Central. Today I was a little late, but I go live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 12 Central on TikTok.
All right. Nice to meet you. Good. We broke some things down and kind of got a perspective. So I followed you. Until next time.
I followed you back, brother. And you know what? I recognize your voice. You have appeared on panels I've watched. Jay Prince in particular. You're the same person, right?
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you coming on here. I come from the YouTube world first before TikTok, so I really do appreciate you coming on here, brother.
Okay.
And I'll see you again. All right, you take care.
You too.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Everyone have a good weekend. See you tonight. I go live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 Central. July 19th, I'm doing a special streamathon on TikTok. 12-hour special, Sunday, July 19th. All right, updates will come with that one. All right, take care. Thank you, Isabella. Thank you. I'm going to follow you back. Thank you.